Okay, well, just over 15 minutes now until the start of play. We'll have a quick look at the teams for this afternoon. We'll start with our visitors. Middlesex, number 28, Stephen Eskenazi. Number 87, Kane Williamson. Number 14, Ben Geddes. Number 76, Lou Duploy. Number 17, Jack Davis. Number 29, Ryan Higgins. Number 56, Luke Holman. Number 77, Zafar Goha. Number 7, Tom Helm. Number 82, Josh Little. Number 10, Noah Cornwall. And your Essex team this afternoon, starting with Adam Rossington, Dean Elgar, Michael Pepper, Paul Walter, Matt Critchley, Charlie Allison, Luke Benkenstein, Simon Harmer, Shane Snater, Sam Cook, and Mohammed Amir. Well, a little bit earlier on, we caught up with Michael Pepper. Keep your eyes on the big screen. Here's what he had to say. Well, our stewarding team are here to help you throughout today and can offer guidance and direction. If you or any of your party require medical attention during the day, please let your nearest steward know or visit our medical centre. Please note the medical centre is now located next to Block 31, where there is also accessible toilet facilities for spectators. Essex Cricket operate a Think 25 policy for the sale of alcohol. Anyone under the age of 18 years old drinking alcohol will be ejected from the ground. We ask all supporters to always keep an eye on the ball to avoid being struck in the stands or making your way around the Ambassador Cruise Line ground today. We ask that spectators do not leave any bags unattended today. These may be removed by our stewarding team. For your fellow spectators' enjoyment, please try to avoid leaving or returning to your seat while play is in progress, especially if bowling from your end of the ground.
in fact, from Essex, but they've lost 2 and had 1 a rain-affected game. So they lost to Glamorgan, Sussex, and the rain-affected game was halfway through against Kent, and unfortunately they didn't get back out, but they did collect 2 points for the abandonment. But well, the teams today, it's going to be both teams are actually staying in the same formula and the same 11s as they had for their last fixture. And we're going to tell you the Essex side. It's going to be Adam Rossington, Dean Elgar, Michael Pepper, Paul Water, Matt Critchley, Charlie Allison, Luke Benkenstein, Simon Harmer, the captain at 8, Shane Snater, Sam Cook, and the Pakistan international Mohammed Amir. And for Middlesex, Guy, who have you got?
Well, we're unchanged as well from the improved performance in half the match, at least, against Kent. Stephen Eskenazi will skipper the side and also open alongside Kane Williamson, one of the 2 overseas players. Ben Geddes, who has a half-century to his name this season in this competition, comes in at 3. Leas Deploy, Jack Davies, Ryan Higgins, Luke Holman, Zafar Gohar, Tom Helm, who has taken 3 wickets in each of his last 2 matches in the T20 Blast. Their second overseas player, Josh Little, and finally the young left armour Noah Cornwell makes up their 11 for today.
Thanks, Guy. To complete the admin for this game, well, the toss has been won by Middlesex.
Just a couple of minutes to go now until we get underway.
So we're going to see the likes of
We'd like
Josh
to thank
Little,
and welcome
and
our members
Tom Helm,
from Eastleigh
Zafir
School and
Gofar,
Home Ed Sports.
young
They're
left
forming our
armour
guard of
Noah
honour for us today.
Cornwell,
Thank
not
you,
the
and
county.
welcome to you guys.
Yes,
Make
not
sure
to
you're
be
waving
confused with
those
the county.
flags.
Who looks a really
Please,
good prospect to
put
me.
your hands together and welcome our visitors today,
umpires
led by
today are
Captain
Hassan
Stephen
Adnan
Eskenazi,
and Neil
Middlesex.
Bainton. They're out in the middle. I'm pleased to report there's a lot of children in the ground today, which is tremendous. There's very much a
Our 2
youthful
umpires already
feel about
out
this
in
game.
the middle.
And Middlesex have
Hassan Adnan
trotted
and
out
Neil
in front of
Bainton.
all the fans and the flags that now enter the arena. And they're in their blue pants, and I'm going to say,
opening the batting for Essex this afternoon. It's
probably,
Adam Rossington and Dean Elgar.
Cerise or something, but it's purpley and blue.
It is, yeah, very, very colourful. They used to wear their pink, they're now in their sort of purple and blue. And the applause there was for the 2 Essex batsmen who are marching out through the lineup of children and flags, and it's going to be Adam Rossington and the slightly diminutive Dean Elgar, I think, is opening the batting. So they are quite different shapes and sizes as they march out to the crease. And we're going to welcome Nick Gledhill, BBC Essex, a little later. But this broadcast is out on BBC Essex, BBC Radio London, and also via your BBC app. You can find us on it's now called Sports Extra 3, which
Absolutely.
is a fantastic opportunity. It's not technically radio, it's a channel, but if you're welcome to find us and join us, you'll be most welcome. Well, the weather is set fair. There's a bit of cloud. There's a little patches of blue sky, but we're playing on the far side of the square on a used wicket. Just maybe it might be better to bat first, and we're going to see Adam Rossington taking guard, and by the looks it's Noah Cornwell, the young fella, to open from the Graham Gooch end.
And Cornwell comes in and bowls, and that's on or around middle and leg, turned around the corner, but there is a man at short fine leg inside the ring who ensures that there is no run off the first ball of the game.
Local lad, Noah Cornwell?
Yes, Middlesex lad. Yes, I'm kind of trying to remember where he comes from. I'll look it up in the break.
I've seen
but he is
bowl
local, yes.
Good action, robotic, economic.
He played here last year when, as he comes in again, and that's shorter and pulled away by Rossington. Excellent piece of fielding, though, out at deep square leg, where it looks as if it had to be 4 runs and isn't.
It was hit like a tracer bullet, square of the wicket, a short ball, and I think it was
Zafar Gohar.
Yeah, who had to spontaneously catch the ball on the bounce.
I apologise to Leas Deploy. Actually, it was Leas Deploy who did the superb piece of fielding. Yes, it looked for all the world as if it must be for. Yeah, he bowled here last year for Middlesex when Middlesex bizarrely had those 2 home games in Chelmsford. So he has bowled here before. So.
Well, he's got to get used to the slope from the Graham Gooch end.
Well, he's used to slopes, really. And there's a lovely delivery that beats a rather tentative prod from Dean Elgar outside off stump. Interested to see if there's a replay of that, whether the ball jagged a bit. But
it's a used wicket. I suspect it will play well throughout the 40 overs, but it's been used, this is possibly the 3rd time it's being used, so just maybe it might help the side batting first, maybe.
In comes, that's much fuller, and there's a thought, certainly Dean Elgar was asking that, is that a tad on the wide side? But the umpire suggested no, it was within the blue line and is fine. And as Noah Cornwell walks back to his mark, we have the 1 slip. We have short fine leg and short 3rd man protecting, and that's a good ball again from Cornwell, and that cramps Dean Elgar up for room, and all he can do is defend it back to the bowler. And at the moment this has been a terrific first over for young Noah Cornwell, just 20 years old. But becoming something of a mainstay in the side this season. Taken a couple of wickets against Sussex and Glamorgan. Missed out last time against Kent, but did well. And that is flicked away onto the leg side. Not altogether convincingly by Dean Elgar, but that will be the end of the over. Ben Geddes comes in to do the fielding from the deep, and an excellent start as far as Middlesex are concerned, confining Essex to just 2 runs, 2 without loss. And it looks as if Don Topley has a little bit of admin to do, so I'm going to keep talking while he sorts things out. And it will be Josh Little who comes on from the Sir Alistair Cook end, and there's a bit of a practice bowl with Luke Holman doing the catching as he just gets his shoulder into action. Second game for Middlesex, bowled nicely, taking 1 for 40 against Kent in midweek. And that's altogether quicker, and it's clipped away, but again straight to the man at deep square, so there's only the single. Sweeping on the boundary, doing a good job. Bowling to his field at the moment, you could say, Josh Little. He played in all the 3 Ireland matches against the West Indies in the recent ODI series, taking 3 wickets in the process. Left arm over the wicket then, and that's pulled away by Rossington, and that beats the man at short fine, and that will be the first boundary of the innings. Rossington taking on the bumper, and it's dropped out.
Right, by the looks of it, we've gone down. I'm going to dial us up again. I'm going to dial us up now. Well, the lights are not on.
Yes, it was just a wobble. We had a little bit of a wobble, and that's another 4 runs. And Rossington enjoying this at the moment, clambering into Josh Little. Apologies if there was a bit of a delay in the commentary there. We're just having a few issues. We had a technical gremlin that just crept in for a second, but we're back with you. And Norman Rossington has now hit back-to-back boundaries. Both times short, both times played round the corner. And Little is in once again, and this is a much better ball. And cramps up Rossington for room this time, and all he can do is dab the ball down defensively, but having already hit 2 fours for the over, he won't be too upset by proceedings. Josh Little striding pretty purposefully back to his mark. Steve Eskenazi alongside him, the skipper at mid-off. Luke Holman at mid-on. Ryan Higgins in at short extra. And that comes from the middle of the bat, and they go through for the quick single to Eskenazi, who's set pretty way back at mid-off. And a comfortable run is taken. So there will be one more ball left, barring wide or no ball from Josh Little. But now he's bowling to the right-handed Dean Elgar. But he's going to continue, by the looks of things, over the wicket. Sorry, the left-handed Dean Elgar, of course, and he's going to continue over the wicket. And Dean Elgar is now ready to face. And he comes out and he smears it a bit through the covers on the up. They think about 2, but it's a really decent throw from the deep to ensure that they only take the 1, but a much more lucrative over as far as Essex are concerned. 11 runs from it. So after 2 overs, after being put in by Middlesex, remember, 13 without loss, with Rossington 10, Elgar 3, and Don Topley seems to have sorted out his admin.
Well, hopefully on the streaming, we're a little bit more worried about the radio as Cornwall comes in, and this is played over cover where it sails to the short boundary for 4. That was a little bit of a flay, looking to give himself a little bit of room. Good shot there from the left-handed Elgar.
Yeah, he played it. In the end, he placed it well because it was uppish.
Yes.
And certainly for a second, Zafar Gohar was interested.
Well, Cornwell is on his way in again to the left-hander. This is pulled up to mid-on where it finds the fielder. A good-looking shot, but he finds the fielder, therefore it is a valuable dot ball. So Middlesex have opened up with 2 left-armers here. They have. Which is not often the case in cricket.
But rarely see it, yes.
But you often hear about the advantages of a left-armer who does bowl because of the angle, whether it's over the wicket or the awkward angle from away around the wicket. This time it's forced into the offside again, give himself a bit of room, but this time Elgar finds the fielder at cover. There is no run.
Yeah, they seem to be sticking with over the wicket, particularly obviously to the left-handed bat, but also the right-hander as well. So that seems to be the feeling at the moment.
Well, 17 without loss. Essex being asked to bat. Cornwall on his way in, left arm over the wicket, past umpire Baton. It's short, very short. It might be deemed a wide. Yes, I would have guessed that. The square leg umpire confirms to the striking umpire at the bowler's end, and he confirms it is a wide. It's too short and it's gone way over Dean Elgar's head, so it's to be rebowled. 18 without loss.
Yeah, it looks a perfectly fair decision, that one, doesn't it? Just got his length wrong.
In he comes to bowl again. It's pitched it up, it's driven into out, goes over mid-off. It's going to bounce away for 4. It's a shorter boundary on the left-handers offside bowling from the Graham Gooch end, and that's a second boundary there against the bowler this over. It was a good looking shot as he was looking to give himself a bit of room, but he actually skillfully controlled it and played slightly into out to go over the inner field, and once it beat the inner field it's going to sail away for 4.
Yep.
22 without loss. Elgar, same again. This time it's going to run away for 4. A little backward of point, but he's given himself room, and the young bowler hasn't done too much wrong.
No.
But it's a cat and mouse situation, and unfortunately for the Middlesex bowler, Dean Elgar has sort of moved around the crease, made a bit of room, and naturally has the skill to get it in the air and over the infield and make Middlesex pay with 3 boundaries.
Yeah, it's been really good batting because he's given him the charge, and you're quite right, he hasn't bowled that badly. But
in comes the left armour again, bowls, this is pulled into the leg side. That's going to run away, I think, for 4. Beneath our eyes, it's hit into the leg side. It was only just dragged down, but Elgar picked it up quickly and swivelled and pulled it to the long boundary, which is towards the bus shelters where the players sit, and Essex have got their 4th boundary of the over. Score after 3 overs is 30 for no wicket. May I just say to our commentating team that we have a splendid new scoreboard, which replaces the old little numbers next to the executive boxes. We have a digital, very quick, updated, and it's great to see that we have a very modern scoreboard.
it is. I can't quite see it from where I am, but it's lovely that it's there. Well, finding out just how difficult life can be, Noah Cornwell on that occasion. 2 off his first over, 17 off his second, and that is short and pummeled. Baseball style, really, from Adam Rossington. Wide of mid-on, and we'd had a change of bowling as well after that double left-hander start to proceedings with Josh Little and Noah Cornwell bowling the first 2 overs. The 4th over is now being bowled by Tom Helm, but the result much the same as it has been since that very good first over. 4 runs as Helm right arm over the wicket again, and this time it's nicely driven, and between a combination of the stumps and the umpire, a very good looking straight drive actually ends up without any runs to show for it, which it feels slightly hard done by, I think he could at the moment, Adam Rossington. Decent shot, but straight into the stumps, which have now been arranged again, having been rearranged. And Tom Helm is smacked on the back foot, but again it's straight from Rossington, and Helm does really well to cling on to the bouncing ball in his follow through and ensure another dot. So it is Tom Helm to continue from the Sir Alistair Cook end, the old river end here at County Ground, and that is flicked away into the leg side, and Rossington just takes the pace off the shot on that particular occasion, playing it to the wide open spaces in the mid-wicket region, and they just trot through for the simplest of singles. Don Topley is back.
Yes, I'm pleased to say
with his technicals, everything.
Pleased to say we're back on line, and we're communicating and broadcasting to the wider public on BBC Essex and BBC Radio London.
And on Sports Extra 3.
So good afternoon to you all. Welcome to the Ambassador Cruise Line. You're in for a treat here. OK, both teams are struggling with form, but it's always an engaging local derby.
As Tom Helm is in the 4th over of the Essex innings, punched out into what's now deep cover for the left-handed Dean Elgar, and it's another single, easy single, as just trying to see who's having to run in from so far out. Ryan Higgins, who's been given the tough job of fielding out on the boundary there and having to run in to stop a single becoming 2 on the longest boundary, which is the mid-wicket one for Rossington,
slow
the right-hander. Decent slow ball too, and Rossington gets hit by the throw coming in from Luke Holman, who apologises, but they trot through for a single, and after that first ball that was pummeled for 4, Tom Helm got a bit of control back, so just 7 from that over. But having been put in, Middlesex still haven't taken a wicket, And Essex are looking pretty well set after 4. Don,
Well,
37 without loss.
some very good shots there from Adam Rossington in that over, but up to that over he has been playing second fiddle to Dean Elgar, who certainly played an array of great shots, productive shots, particularly square of the wicket, going into out over the infield to the left-hander's shorter boundary, or swivelling and playing a shorter pull shots into the leg side. But it's going to be Rossington facing
Zafar Gohar.
Zafar Gohar bowling his left arm spin, and we're going to have a good look. We're still in the power play. The 2 men out are deep mid-off and deep cow corner on the shorter boundary. He's in, bowls, plays a shorter ball, does Rossington, hits it and times it nicely out to Kane Williamson at extra cover, who's it'll be very interesting to see him bat today. Fine player. In comes the left arm spinner for Middlesex. This time Rossington plays on the front foot, and it's going to run away for 4 to beat Williamson, and it does as it goes to the executive boxes. This time it's played on the front foot because it was a ball of good length, but Rossington didn't die wondering. He's played into out and gone over the infield. 4 good runs to Rossington.
Yeah, he's played that into out shot a couple of times now to good effect.
The spinner, who's played, I think it was for Gloucestershire, wasn't it?
He did. He played for Gloucestershire for a long time. He played 1 test match for Pakistan.
In he comes, bowls. This played into the leg side off the back foot, and they take a simple single, which brings Elgar onto strike. The score is, on this new scoreboard here at Chelmsford, 42 for no wicket. Rossington and Elgar. Rossington has 21. He's now ahead of Elgar on 20. Elgar, the left-hander, to face, so the ball will be coming. It's not really going to turn, but he's going to look to play with the spin, so it wouldn't surprise me if he, the bowler wants to make Elgar play into the large acreage on Elgar's leg side. Won't want to go over the offside. This time he stands still as Elgar whips it into the leg side as it runs down to the Tom Pearce stand. And it's beneath our eyes, and it must have been well fielded by the 2 Middlesex chaps, Little and indeed, who's 14?
Ben Geddes.
Ben Geddes, the young man who's crossed the River Thames, who had a very good reputation at Surrey, but he's moved like many do. Mike Selvey for one, Richard Johnson another, as the spinner comes in, bowls, and this has gone down the ground. Has it gone straight up in the air? It's going to be a good catch. No, it's just gone too far. It went enormously high. Rossington collects 6 as it just completes on that short Graham Gooch end, and it just plops over. So I'm not going to say a bad delivery, far from it. It was a good delivery, but a fairly short boundary and a good hit from Rossington.
Yeah, he's batting well, but his heart must have been in his mouth for a moment after that one.
In he comes, this short, it's cut, and it's going to run away for 4 as it's a short ball, probably, and he's probably trying to preempt the movement of the batsman, but the spinner there, for me, has bowled the worst ball of his over.
Yeah.
That final ball, and it was simply short and wide. It was packaged and ribboned up, and Rossington dealt with it for 4. Square of the wicket. So after 5 overs, and it's going to be the end of me where I welcome Nick Gledhill into the seat, Essex are 55 for no wicket.
And needing to drag things back a bit, just the 1 more over in the power play. So they will be able to put a few more fielders out of the ring of yellow plastic circles, so they can try and just stop the bleeding to quite the same extent. And that's heaved away, and it just bounces over Stephen Eskenazi's attempted dive to try and cut the ball off. Looked as if for a second he would get there, but the ball just leapt over him and has gone for 4, and this boundary barrage continues at the moment. And it looked a pretty decent batting track the other day when we were here for the Essex.
And it did on
women.
Sunday. It did on Sunday as well, Guy. Good start this.
As Tom Helm is in again. He started with a 4 off his first ball last time and then dragged it back. This time it is a single out to Ben Geddes at deep cover, and there is just one addition, so the 60 comes up.
Tell you what, Essex looking as though they mean business here. They know the importance of this game, and actually it's an important game for individuals in the lineup, given that Jordan Cox is expected to return for the next match. It's been a very controlled performance so far, particularly from Rossington.
As in comes Tom Helm once again from the Sir Alistair Cook. Oh, and that's slung up in the air, and he's almost walking because it should be a catch, and it is a catch. And well, I have to say, Nick, you put the complete mockers on Rossington.
But I think
then.
it was true. I think what I was saying was true. I think you look at those boundaries he hit in the previous over, judging the one over mid-on to perfection, really, and getting a 6, and then a lovely shot through the offside. He had looked to be playing, a much more substantial innings. He's not past 20 up until now, but then that was a bit of a head in the air shot, wasn't it? And I mean, potentially he's one of the players whose place might be under threat when Cox gets back. But what I would say is he looked very good when he was out there, but 60 for 1, as you were suggesting, that's a wicket that Middlesex very much needed, and it was an excellent opening stand. Now Michael Pepper is very much the man of the moment.
Yes.
Fighting a lone cause, really, in terms of
60 or 30.
Yeah, absolutely superb, and he's leading the way. The only problem is he's leading the way by too big a margin at the moment from an Essex point of view. But I'm sure the home crowd will be delighted to see another significant contribution from him here. And by the way, the crowd has really built up in the last half hour, because it was looking a bit disappointing actually about 1:45. But the public seats now are pretty much full, looking across to our left.
Well, it is Tom Helm who, in his last 2 matches in this competition, has taken 3 wickets in each, and he's at it again.
Yeah, and experienced bowler, and 1 to 12 in 9 balls. He's made a good start.
And he's in once again to the new batter Pepper, and decent, just short of a length delivery that Pepper was rather surprised by, possibly, and but he got up on his toes, played it very nicely, and defensively though, Tom Helm can successfully add another dot ball to his growing collection.
We've seen 1 or 2 decent individual performances. I mean, Elgin and Critchley with those 50s against Somerset, but it has been Pepper who's very much taken the lead for Essex with the bat this season.
So Middlesex's best bowler against the best bat, and I think he strangled him down the leg side, and Pepper has to go. He does not look happy, but certainly Elgar was pretty sure, the Helm was pretty sure that Pepper had gloved it through to the wicketkeeper Davies, who took it down the leg side. The umpire certainly agreed with him, and that's 2 wickets for Tom Helm in 3 balls, and from 60 without loss and cruising, suddenly it's 60 for 2, and the main man has gone without scoring.
Yeah, it just shows you how things can change quickly, and I think calling him the main man is a fair statement at the moment. Although having said that, Matt Critchley did bat very nicely the other day. Paul Walter is due in next, and he could do with a decent score. He's very, very capable, of course. He's perhaps still best known for his one-day striking, although he's acquitted himself very well in the opener's role in the Championship and shown that he can bat anywhere in the top 6 in that competition. But that's really, from a Middlesex point of view, it's just what they wanted, Guy, because I won't say they were getting particularly worried, but there were a lot of boundaries being hit. There'd been a very good power play, and they're just changing this power play round a bit.
We've just had the replay, and it does look as if he was more disappointed with the shot than with the decision, and it certainly looked as if it came off the glove. It couldn't have been anything else, because he was playing away for his body, and that's punched nicely into the covers for a single, and a decent catch by Jack Davies as well down the right hand side. So nicely played from Davies down the leg side. 2 wickets and just what Middlesex needed. 7 runs still from the over, but those 2 wickets have dragged the visitors back into this match as we move into the power play, at the end of the power play.
Yes, it's certainly evened up, hasn't it? Pretty cloudy here, occasional glimpses of the sun, but it is quite a cloudy afternoon and pretty cool. When the sun does peek through, it warms up a little bit, but say the crowd has built up very nicely in the last half hour. And it's going to be Holman from the Graham Gooch end, so more spin to bowl to Elgar, who, let's say, played very nicely last Sunday, and Essex could do with him making another significant contribution here. And say Paul Walter due a score, very capable of getting one, but that's a big blow, particularly to lose Pepper so cheaply. Here is the first ball of a new over, and it's just clipped away into the onside off Holman for a single by Elgar. And the score goes up by 1. We've got to talk about this new scoreboard here, which, like any new scoreboard, just momentarily takes a little bit of a moment to get used to. But it says that Elgar has 29 from 17, and Essex are 63 for 2. And we're in the 7th over on a cloudy afternoon at Chelmsford. And it's an important game because whoever loses it is going to have, even at this stage, quite a task on to finish in the top 4. As Walter on the drive sends it nicely past the bowler Holman and away for a single up to long on. So with the end of the power play and also the 2 wickets, Middlesex will view a chance here, Guy, just to get a couple of quiet overs in.
Absolutely, and they could do with them, because although they took the 2 wickets and Helm bowled well, there's still a lot of runs on the board after 6.
And Elgar plays it past the square leg umpire, collects a single out towards deep backward square leg. That's Ben Geddes, so 1 more goes to the total, 65 for 2, and we're in the 7th over. We're on 5 Sports Extra 3. We're also online by the BBC Sport website and app. And here's Holman bowling just a flatter one, it's a good one, and Walter just reacts late on and plays it nicely, actually, away into the offside, out to the sweeper on the cover boundary for another single in this over. So Middlesex are just keeping it quiet for the moment, 66 for 2. Paul Walter, who's played franchise cricket and Big Bash, 100, pretty experienced now. And this is driven away nicely into a gap by Elgar for what will be the 5th single of the over, I think. Yes,
yep.
Out towards deep mid-wicket. But Holman keeping it tight. Middlesex just benefiting from having taken those 2 quick wickets. Scores of 10, 23, 6 and 10 in that order for Walter so far this season. So he is due a contribution. He's a very powerful hitter when he gets going, as he places up to one of the 4, saving 1 on, at the moment. That's a shortish extra cover, and that's a dot ball. That's a pretty good over from Holman, 5 singles from it. Walter has 4 from as many balls. Elgar 31, and those 2 quick wickets in the last over. Rossington for 31 from 17 and Pepper for a 2-ball duck. 67 for 2.
Yep, it was nicely bowled from Luke Holman, who with Tom Helm has really been the standout bowler, not only this season but last season as well. He was the top wicket taker for Middlesex, 23 in the campaign last year, which wasn't desperately successful, but he stood out. And good to see him putting the brakes on again. And it's a chance for Josh Little after an expensive-ish first over. The first over cost 11, who's back in to the attack, but pulls out of his run as batters and fielders continue to get ready, and he goes back to his mark.
He made his debut on Thursday night, didn't he, in that truncated game.
Nice, easy action, and that's just short of a length and surprisingly quick as well, but it's well played in the end by Elgar. Punches it to the fielder at point, who ensures that there is no run.
And he's played for a few sides as well, like the Los Angeles Knight Riders and the Trinbago Knight Riders. Welsh Fire in the 100 and Gujarat Titans as well.
As he again runs away from us in our commentary position here. Left arm over the wicket, and Elgar has a swing at that. Not entirely successfully, but all along the ground. He pulls the ball, in fact, straight rather than out to mid-wicket, as I think he was intending, and Luke Holman can easily cut it off, but not before they trot through for another single. Josh Little, who played for Ireland at this ground against the young Essex side of, was it last year or the year before?
Oh.
Ahead of the Test match.
Yes, I think that was maybe a couple of years ago.
Yes, I think it was a couple of years ago as well, but I remember Josh Little playing in that one, and that is driven up not altogether from the middle of the bat by Paul Walter up to mid-off.
Because 2 years ago, Essex played a 4-day game of that type on this ground. I think it may have been against Ireland, but it delayed the start of their T20 campaign. And I have to say, I thought it was a very, very odd situation. It should have been a county select 11. Could have played the game here, but it should have been a county select 11.
That is swung away, and that is he did carry to Luke Holman, but he couldn't quite cling on. It would have been an absolutely fabulous catch at long on, but Holman just couldn't cling on to the ball, and that is something of a life for Elgar, who now moves on to 32. He had his one hand was off the bat. He was almost already walking into the pavilion, but Holman just couldn't dive forward enough to snaffle the catch. As Little is in again, and that is smeared through the covers on this occasion. But Geddes out at deep cover ensures there can only be a single. But what I do remember about that Essex side, I think there were only 2 first-team players playing for it. Robin Dar scored 100. It was all the youngsters.
It was just
played.
The fact that it was an Essex side, but it meant that they couldn't start the T20 campaign, which meant that all the games were congested together. And I thought it was a slightly unsatisfactory situation.
Short, edge, I think off the gloves, and he's gone. He went for the pull shot, Elgar, and just that extra bounce that Josh Little can get, and you can see how pleased Josh Little is to have picked up that particular wicket. He took a wicket against Kent in midweek, but that one meant something. And it's 71 for 3 now, Essex, as Middlesex fight their way back into this one.
Well, we were talking about the benefit of taking a couple of wickets back-to-back when you've gone the distance a little bit in the power play. Middlesex got the 2 wickets right at the end of the power play, and since then we've seen a couple of very tight overs. The one that went for 5 from Holman, the 5 singles, and now Little's over has gone for 4, and he's got a wicket as well. And it's just changed the momentum here in this game. And I know Middlesex the other night thought that they were in a pretty decent chance against Kent, because they thought that Kent's score was a little bit under par in that game that was televised and which got rain truncated. So I think Middlesex just get the feeling they feel they're playing reasonably well. They just need a break of a victory. And they'll feel a lot better about things than they were 2 overs ago, I think. Yes,
they got themselves back into the match a bit against Glamorgan last weekend, but the batting had been so poor that in the end Glamorgan bounced back.
Holman bowls, and Walter, uppish, goodness me, just past the bowler. That wasn't controlled. That could have been a 4th quick wicket. He played it too soon. It went just over the left shoulder of Holman, the spinner, and up to long on for a fortunate single. And it's 72 for 3, and we're in the 9th.
My word, that wasn't where Walter meant to put it at all. And I thought he'd chipped it straight to mid-off, but he was lucky he hit it straighter and managed to avoid everybody.
So Holman is doing a pretty tidy job here, Luke Holman, with his leg breaks. Just tosses the ball from hand to hand. He's bowling from the Graham Gooch end. He's going to bowl to Matt Critchley, the new bat. 2 either side, saving 1, the rest on the boundary. And here is Holman bowls a flatter one, and Critchley with an angle bat sends it down to backward point, and there's no run. The innings he played last Sunday was, I think, just about the best I've seen from him in this competition. And then he was part of a dramatic collapse in which he got run out off a no ball for a high full toss, and he was run out for the non-strikers end. He goes on the reverse sweep here. It was a shout from Holman, and they scamper through for a single. Look for the umpire there to save it. There was a bit of bat on that. It's not a leg by, so that might have been the thing that saved him, because he was on the reverse sweep, got a bit of bat on it, and it's gone down to what became short third man. And they've scampered through for a single. Middlesex have just got a little bit of a grip at the moment. 73 for 3 in the 9th. And it's going to be Holman to bowl to Water, who comes down the pitch and is stumped. That was, well, having had a bit of a lifeline earlier in the over, that was a little bit of a head in the air attempt to loft the ball over the bowler, over mid-off, and he was never quite there for the shot. Nice piece of flight, really good fight this by Middlesex. And as I say, they've got a bit of momentum going here, Guy, and they're just carrying on and rolling through with it and putting themselves in quite a strong position because they're getting key wickets here. And Water, who'd got a real escape right at the start of that over, doesn't escape here. And he just didn't seem to be in position for the shot. He was looking to go down and lofted away over the bowler's head, was never quite there, and a smart piece of stumping.
Yeah, it is strange batting by Essex at the moment. There are still 11 overs left. You've lost your top 3. I know T20 you don't have much time to rearrange, but that was a head-up swipe. He missed it. Jack Davies didn't, and 60 without loss has become 73 for 4 really, really quickly.
Well, with Jordan Cox due back for the Glamorgan game on Thursday, to say, with these recent dismissals, there were 1 or 2 players whose place might be under pressure because we're pretty certain that Cox will be coming back in the side as soon as he's available. But Charlie Allison, who had a nice short innings at Cardiff, but got in there. Can he produce something a bit more significant here? And it's 73 for 4. Essex need a partnership between Critchley and Allison. It's going to be Holman to bowl. Middlesex at the moment hopeful of improving on their recent record against Essex. They've only won 1 of the last 6, but that was quite dramatic as Holman comes in to bowl and Allison just plays a nice authentic defensive shot you don't often see in T20, but good ball and treated appropriately. The game that Middlesex won a couple of years ago here, Essex's highest score against Middlesex, but it was in a losing cause. 225 for 6. Daniel Sams, he's rather missed, isn't he? 69 not out from 34 balls. And here Allison gets off the mark with a nice stroke away through the mid-wicket gap. Collects a single, the end of Holman's over, and it's 74 for 4. I think the new scoreboard is a bit quicker than the old one because it's got getting the runs up quicker than we're used to here. Allison won and Critchley won. Middlesex replied to that thanks to Ryan Higgins, 61 from 24 balls with 226 for 8, and that's the one victory for Middlesex in the last 6 between the two sides. As has been publicised, they haven't had much success against anybody, of course, in recent times at Lord's.
No, quite so. It's been a dispiriting for the home fans.
I did see the highlights of the 2008 success on the television the other day.
Well
had to it can happen. It can happen.
That's the only time they qualified for the finals, and they went and won it. Yes.
Beat Kent. Of course, that's probably why they were showing it. Of course, beat Kent in the final.
Well, it's Zafar Gohar who came in for some real hammer in his first over from the Graham Gooch end. He's now switched to the Sir Alistair Cook variety of ends. He's bowling his left arm around the wicket, and that is a very formal red ball defensive shot from Allison back to the bowler.
Yes, he's got a real opportunity here, Charlie Allison. He's got plenty of overs to bat, might as well get himself in, can't take too long.
Gohar in once again, slightly quicker delivery and again played defensively, pushed out into the covers, no rump.
That over, which saw the back of Rossington and Pepper in the space of, 3 deliveries, that's really been absolutely key for Middlesex here.
Yes, Tom Helm, who can now be held back, of course, till he's needed again at the end. And there's a big LBW shout as a missed reverse sweep. Zafar Gohar does like an appeal, and I think the umpire took in the amateur dramatics as well into his consideration there. We're just seeing the replay now. We can see, oh, interesting, a side-on view of an LB shout. Maybe he got some bat on it. Zafar Gohar left arm round the wicket again. This time, was beautifully bowled. Oh, and he's given stumped. Must have just slipped out of the his crease, and a 5th wicket has fallen. And Allison, who was trying to play carefully, suddenly finds that he has to head back to the pavilion as well.
Interesting if there's any turn there, Guy, because it's a used pitch. 5
wickets for 14.
Yeah, we'll get a replay of that. I just wonder if there might be some turn.
As it didn't look as if he come that far down the wicket as well, so I'd like to see if we can see the replays from both. That would be handy, but you're right. If the ball is beginning to spin and turn, then Mr. Harmer will be looking at it with a certain amount of interest. Here we go.
Yes.
Yes,
definitely.
there is.
I just had that initial thought with that one, had turned, and basically he's played inside it, and it's hit off stump. Lovely piece of bowling, but this is a used pitch. It was used on Sunday, it was used on Wednesday evening for the women's match being used again. Still, has looked a pretty good batting surface in those first 6 overs, but I tell you what, this is a terrific fight back by Middlesex. It really is. And Essex are up against it. 60 without loss after 5 overs and 2 balls, and they are now 74 for 5. So it is going to be Benkenstein, another young player who's got a chance to play a significant inning, because there's more than half the innings left here. We're in the 10th over.
Well, someone is going to have to.
Safar left arm bowls and played off the back foot and goes away for 2, I think, being chased back towards the third man boundary. It might not be cut off.
4 runs. Nicely played. And what a nice start that is for Benkenstein as he tucks it away.
Yeah, that was a nice stroke, wasn't it? He timed it very well. Had better timing than I thought, because it sped away to that third man boundary.
Yes, interesting. He played back, and not many of the batters have done that so far, as Zafar Gohar's in again, and this is punched on the back foot out into the covers. That is the end of the over, and indeed of me for the time being, as Dom Topley will come back and join Nick for the next few overs. But Middlesex, after 10 overs, will be very happy with the way things have gone. 78 for 5, Essex, after being put in.
Yeah, we can say a game of 2 halves so far. Dominant from Essex, with Rossington and Elgar finding the boundary at will for those first 5 overs. And then the wicket came off the 3rd ball of the 6th over, and that was Rossington out for 31. And then the 2 balls later, Pepper, a leg side strangle, that little bit of luck. How important that can be to get a dismissal like that. And yeah, that could prove to be a big moment in the game, given how well Pepper has been performing. Not surprisingly, Holman is going to continue, and it's going to be a reverse sweep and a catch at wideish short third man, and a very, very tame dismissal that for Matt Critchley. And certainly there is help for the spinners here. We're seeing wickets go, and that one, well, he was going on the reverse, we just got too far underneath it and hit it with no power. And it's I'm told there's 6 wickets in 27 balls. It's been a sensational fight back here by Middlesex, and Essex really have got problems now. Certainly the wicket is taking turn. It's this used pitch. The hope is with Essex with 3 spinners can do something similar later, but Middlesex are engineering themselves a very fine position in this match. 78 for 6, 1 ball into the 11th over.
I left the commentary seat at 60 for none.
Yeah,
and I've returned now, what is it? 76, 78 for 6.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like he didn't manage to go through with a shot. It looked like he maybe a little bit of turn, but he just got underneath it, and in the end ended up just lobbing the ball really to the fielder. It was Helm there who took the catch.
We do seem to sort of see Essex here, and they look a little bit low in confidence, and they're finding the fielders. It started brilliantly for a 60-wicket first wicket partnership, but now, my word, Simon Harmer, the captain's going to have to play a captain's innings, and for some overs.
So Holman's going to bowl to him, and off the back foot. That's steered between backward point and cover, out to a sweeper in front of the pavilion. That's a long boundary, and at the moment Essex probably not thinking too much about exploiting it as a single is added, because they've got problems enough as Geddes completes the fielding. 60 for no wicket to 78 for 6. It's now 79 for 6 in the 11th over, as Holman bowls from the Graham Gooch end, and Benkenstein goes back into his crease and plays defensively up into the offside, and there's no run. So Luke Benkenstein, say this would be a good chance to make a significant score. 6, 1 and 12 not out so far. As Holman bowls again, that's a flatter one. It's hit away up towards and over deep mid wicket. That one was a shorter one that sat up, and Benkenstein spotted it. Now he had to take on a man at deep mid wicket, but it was a short boundary in front of the public seats, and he hit it really well. Nice pull shot over mid wicket. Maybe that's going to give Essex a bit of momentum, which they really need. Benkenstein goes to 10, and it's 85 for 6. Holman again bowls from the Graham Gooch end, and that's played head over the ball up towards mid-wicket by Benkenstein, and there's no run. What a very good shot that was. It did sit up a bit for him. It was dragged down, but it was a lovely shot. Here's Holman, 2 for 15. End of his third over. Bowls, and that's played off the back foot. Didn't quite time that. He's rueful there, Benkenstein. He was looking for the back foot cut for 4, but he didn't quite time it, and it rolled to Helm. But Helm's second bit of involvement in the over. But, well, that's a big over again for Middlesex. I mean, 85 for 6, just to confirm actually, it's actually Little who took the catch. They're swapping the fielders round, so Little who took the catch off Critchley. 85 for 6, Benkenstein has got 10 and Harmer has 1. And we've had 11 overs.
Zafar Gohar is going to continue from the Sir Alistair Cook end. We're bathed in beautiful sunshine. There's quite a lot of blue sky now, which is a slight change from earlier on. Essex played nicely in the cloudy skies that commenced this game at 2 o'clock. 60 for none. And now they lost 6 wickets in 27 balls. That's just over 4 overs. This time it's driven into the offside, and Harmer, the captain, looks for a quick single. It's fielded at extra cover, where there is just the single. Good afternoon to Carl Gould, who's just inside Suffolk on the River Stour, former teacher of Charlie Allison. And there's an LBW appeal, but nobody, including the umpire, is interested. So there's no leg by. It's a dot ball, valuable for the left arm spinner, bowling around the wicket. Benkenstein facing. He comes forward, plays into the offside. It's in the air, but it falls just short of the man on the boundary, the cover defender. And Benkenstein gets a single, slightly away from his body, slightly West Indian. Didn't make a great connection, but he survives and takes a single. 87 for 6. In comes the left arm spinner. It's a reverse sweep there from Harmer, who's played it square of the wicket, who beats a man at cover on the boundary and collects 4 runs. That was a proper shot, full of control.
Yeah.
Not just hope, but a good execution.
He played it on length, didn't he? I think the problem, the one that Critchley had, I think it was just bouncing at him a little bit, and he just got too far underneath it.
They're always... In he comes again, played off the back foot a little bit quicker, not allowing him to play that reverse sweep, but he finds the man at backward point. There's a backward point and a kind of fly slip 5-10 yards away from each other, who are covering that segment of the park. Zafar Gohar comes in round the wicket, bowls, pitched up into the leg side, finds the fielder, no run, end of the over. A goodish over really, apart from the boundary, and it was a splendid boundary by Simon Harmer. Essex haven't been asked about. It's 91 for 6.
Well, it's a question now of what a reasonable target score is for Essex. They've got 8 overs to go, 91 for 6. They're going to have to play relatively conservatively because they've lost 6 wickets. 150. I mean, there is something in it for the spinners.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I mentioned that to you earlier when I popped out there. It's a used wicket. You've seen 2 games on this, haven't you?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good wicket. I mean, obviously, Somerset were pretty dominant with their batting. Essex did have a slightly freakish collapse in that game, but it was a good pitch. It was a 190 pitch, I think we can say. As this first ball of the 13th over played away off the back foot. Little has switched ends. He's coming from the Graham Gooch end, and as a single just played off the back foot. Away for 1.
Looking at the left, we've got Shane Snater at 9, Sam Cook and Mohammed Amir. I mean, look.
Yeah, it's a longish Snater,
all three need to respond with decent runs.
Sam Cook is useful at sort of supporting another batter, isn't he? Snater can try that cameo role. So that single to Benkenstein took him to 12. Now Harmer's on strike, and he just comes forward and just steers half forward away back of the square on the offside, but there's no run. And well, they've got to try and put together a little bit of a partnership. Kane Williamson in the action there. That's backward point there. Going to be interesting to see him later on. At the moment, he won't be too worried about the likely target. That's the worry for Essex. Someone of his calibre could just occupy one end without having to worry too much about playing anything other than their natural game.
Just has to bat, doesn't he?
Mid on, mid off cover, backward point. That's Williamson, and the rest on the boundary. And here's Little again with his left arm seam, and it's played by Harmer off the back foot down to third man. There's Tom Helm for a single. So. Yeah, a spectacular collapse, 60 for no wicket to 78 for 6. They're trying to just recover this a little bit, these two. But they've got to try and get this up to somewhere like maybe 150. 93 for 6 in the 13th, but of course Middlesex have still got a decent chance of bowling Essex out. And that would be, of course, a bit of a nightmare situation for the home side. As Little bowls one, and across the crease goes Benkenstein and tries to hit the ball over the keeper's head with the reverse scoop, and he misses it. You've got to be. We saw Critchley doing that a couple of times very successfully in his brilliant 50 last weekend, but on that evidence, he'll need a bit of coaching from Critchley. He wasn't quite there, was he? 93 for 6. He'll give it another go, maybe. And of course, he's got the pace to work with Little, who I think has bowled really well. First over went for 11, but since then 10 balls and a wicket for 6 runs, and he's got genuine pace as well, the left arm Irishman, and he bowls, and Benkenstein on the back foot just steers up towards deep mid wicket for a single and goes along to 13. It's so nice seeing the scoreboard getting the run up straight away, isn't it? Here you have that normal weight, and
you do.
You're not sure has it been put up or not, and it has.
Yeah. You said 150. I would tend to say they're going to bite your hand off.
It's going to need careful batting, but and it's going to need a partnership here. But that must be the objective. As Little bowls, and Harmer goes on a flashing cut shot, and is fortunate not to edge that. If he had edged it, given the pace of Little, it probably would have flown over the head of Davis and gone away for 4. But yeah, Middlesex, who I think that they felt they'd done pretty well on Thursday night before it rained and they'd restricted Kent to a gettable score. They're looking obviously to try and get their account up and running in terms of the win column this year, and they'll feel pretty good about this situation. 94 for 6 after 13. Benkenstein 13 from 11 and Harmer 7 from 8.
Well, both teams, Nick, are winless. Essex have lost to Somerset, Hampshire and Glamorgan, and Middlesex have lost to Glamorgan and Sussex, and then, as you just mentioned, Nick, the rained-off game against Kent. Kane Williamson is jogging towards us with his sunglasses on, and we're going to see Luke Holman to bowl from the Sir Alistair Cook end. Normally bowls quite quick leg spin. The last over, when I came back to commentary, he bowled it a little slower because he was bowling to new batsmen. This is driven into the leg side, the large leg side, which is on the pavilion side here at Chelmsford for the right-hander, but Essex only take a single, and a single to Luke Benkenstein, who is the son of Dale Benkenstein, who's just been relieved of duties at Lancashire, formerly at Gloucestershire as well, and he had a distinguished playing career. Holman's in, bowls, full toss. This time he was already lapping it, reverse lapping it was Harmer, and he's got a full bat on it. It was a full toss, and he's connected it well to play it square of the wicket, and he takes 4 runs. That's probably a disappointing ball. Did he look to change his delivery as he saw Simon Harmer move into a reverse sweep? Or reverse pull, perhaps. They're changing the field placing for Harmer. They're bringing the man at backward point in front of square, and they're moving the cover boundary fella to deep backward point, where Harmer plays a reverse sweep square of the wicket. Harmer's looking for 2, plays it into the leg side, but it will only take a single as it's well fielded. Good energy there I'm trying to see who that was. Good bit of fielding to ensure Essex did not get to. So Middlesex have the upper hand, are playing some good cricket here. Maybe Essex look a little bit low on confidence. Holman again, quick leg spinner, played into the leg side. It's going to take one. They're looking for two, and Benkenstein is turned down by Harmer. They look for an overthrow as well. Yes, they do get an overthrow. It's Billy Smart's circus out there, as there's overthrows, a poor bit of fielding, not particularly a good backup. He parries it, and then the second person to back up has to go and retrieve the ball. So Essex, I think, took two, David Jackman.
Yeah, that'll help in the pursuit of 150. I was saying, Don, just as you were coming in, I did think Rossington was playing very well. He's playing in a very controlled fashion. He got the 2 boundaries in the over before he got out. He was going at a very good rate.
He was playing second fiddle at early doors.
Right.
And this is driven off the back foot, where Essex will take two. I think Benkenstein and Harmer will both get back. And there's no silliness in the Middlesex field there. Sensibly fielded. And Essex take 2 runs to move to 104 for 6.
The collapse rivaled the one last Sunday against Somerset.
In comes Holman, quick leg spinner down the leg side. He's bowling, he's really targeting leg stump and just outside where the ball might turn back on this used surface, but that was a wide, simply shoved down the leg side. Little bit more air played by Benkenstein into the leg side. There's only going to be the one run to conclude that over. 106 for 6. Benkenstein has a 19 and Harmer has 12. So looking at Nick's 150, we're hoping. How many overs left have we got? We've got 6.
It might depend on them not being all out, mind you, but at least there's a bit of a partnership.
I still think they're going to try and bite your hand off there, Nick.
But at least they've rescued it from 78 for 6 to this score.
Yes.
And Little's going to bowl out 1 for 18 in 3 overs. West Indies sent in at Bristol 38 for 1, and Luke Wood back in the England side got a wicket with his first ball. In fact, the first ball of the match, as that's driven away past the bowler, and it's a good-looking shot, lovely shot down the ground by Benkenstein. That's one of the best shots of the day so far. Just turned that one from Little into a half volley, got to the pitch of it, hit it between the bowler and the stumps, and nothing that mid-on could do about that. And Benkenstein starting to look quite good here. Unfortunately, when we've said that, up to this point, players have tended to get out, even though it certainly was true of Rossington. But 23 from 16.
Superb shot, just a push drive down the ground.
So 110 for 6. Little bowling out here, and Benkenstein again playing it nice and straight, gets it up to mid-off, and there is no run.
It's interesting when Little gets driven for 4 back past him. Great shot. You know, as a bowler, you're saying to yourself, crikey, I'm trying to pitch it up, but why did I pitch it up so full to allow him that scoring opportunity? And that is the mind of a bowler in this situation, especially when it was first ball of the over. You just want to ease yourself in. He wants to pitch it up to try and get him out, but it's cost him 4.
Here is Little again. Oh, it bowls up a short one. It's pulled away by Benkenstein. It's going to be safe. Bounces once before deep mid-wicket. Wasn't completely in control of that shot. Just throws his head back a little bit at the non-striker's end. Would have been a tame dismissal because that was a quick shorter ball from Little. And he was a bit underneath it. But it did bounce safe, even though he was going to the shorter boundary. And he goes to 24, 111 for 6. We're in the 15th over. On BBC Essex, BBC Radio London, online via the BBC Sport website, an app, and also 5 Sports Extra 3. And here is Little again. Bowls another shorter one, and Harmer gets onto the back foot and steers it up towards deep mid-wicket for a single. England Lions are 294 for 9 in reply to India A's 348 at Northampton. Jordan Cox made 45.
So we're missing Jordan Cox.
Yep.
And Middlesex are missing Max Holden.
Yeah.
So losing Max Holden will certainly give them a little headache and a hole in their side, just like losing Jordan Cox for Essex.
Here it's 112 for 6 in the 15th, and this is hit away in the air by Benkenstein. Again, didn't quite time it. It's going to get a single out towards deep mid-wicket. Little obviously testing him with these shorter deliveries, and that one, again, didn't quite get the time. You can see him playing the shot again at the non-striker's end. with a short boundary there, he'd be hopeful of trying to put that into the crowd, wouldn't he, Don? But Little's pace and just interesting little battle at the moment.
High up the bat, isn't it? Both pulls we've seen, or attempted hooks, have been very high up the bat, and he hasn't been able to hit it very far.
113 for 6, and Little bowls, and that one's going down the leg side, is it? No, it must have
slipped his
must just taken the paddle hit Harmer there, as it was gathered in nicely by Davis. The end of the over, so a dot ball, but tell you what, that's a good spell. 1 for 25 from 4 overs, some good pace as well from Little, and that's encouraging for the perspective, I think, of Middlesex to have a nice, genuine, quick left armer in their ranks. Holman also has bowled out 2 for 27, 113 for 6, 5 overs to go. Don to continue, and is going to be joined again by Guy Swindles.
Thank you, Nick. You're going to come back and join us in the break, perhaps when we've done the Middlesex bowling statistics, give them a little bit of an analysis, and we'll have a little chat with Nick Ledhill. But it's going to be Zafar Gohar from the Sir Alistair Cook end, which is bowled into the deck where it's quite short. It's been hit back down the ground to long off, where Essex and indeed Benkenstein takes another single score. 114 for 6. Welcome back, Guy. You, BBC Radio London, must be chuffed.
Well, I need to start Middlesex taking wickets again.
As Zafar Gohar goes down the leg side, and it is signalled a wide. He's trying to make Essex play into the large acreage on Harmer's leg side, on the pavilion side. In he comes the spinner, played this time. Harmer tries to give himself a bit of room, but he finds the man at backward point for Harmer, where there is no run.
No, these two have batted really sensibly. Exactly what was needed. They've hit the bad balls and just making sure that they occupy time.
Under pressure, in comes the spinner. This time Harmer plays and drives it up to the fielder at extra cover, Captain Eskenazi. There is no run. Harmer, the pressure is building now. This over, we're seeing, no boundaries so far. In he comes, bowls. This is again forced into the legs, but Harmer looks to go offside and forces it out to Eskenazi, the captain, again. Identical to the ball before. Left arm spinner coming round the wicket, firing darts to Harmer's legs, I would suggest. In he comes again, bowls. Little slower, but again, repeats by playing it out to extra cover. Captain Eskenazi does the fielding. This has been a superb over. David Jackman, how many? 1 and a wide. In he comes, bowls. This is a reverse lap where he finds the fielder on the boundary, Little. He returns the ball, and that is a most magnificent 7-ball over, and it's cost just 3 runs for Middlesex there. 116 for 6, and we have just 24 balls. Not forgetting, Guy, we had a period of 27 balls where Essex lost 6 wickets.
Correction.
David Jackman, did you get it wrong?
29 balls. God, it took them forever.
29 balls.
Ruins that.
It took
ages. We've gone online. We've posted.
We'll have to have a
word.
Inquisition at the end of this.
It's going to be harsh. It's Tom Helm to continue, and it's young Noah Cornwall on.
It is left armour who got punished.
He did. He bowled 1 brilliant over for 2.
Yep.
And then his second over cost 17.
Yeah, that's right, against Dean Elgar.
Yep.
I mean, it was a bit of an education. I don't want to say baptism, because Dean Elgar is a very shrewd operator, a great Test cricketer, but also an effective T20 player too.
Well, Noah Cornwall's in again, and that's driven straight, and that's a good shot by Harmer. Nothing much wrong with the ball, but Harmer came out of the crease, possibly ever so slightly over-pitched, but it was the straightness of the drive that made sure he picked up the 4 on that occasion.
It was a good shot, slightly full, and to be fair to Harmer, he just punched it back with enough power. Strong man is Harmer, and he collected 4.
Cornwall in again. That's slightly shorter of length. It's punched away nicely off the back foot into the deep cover area, where the deep cover fielder ensures that they will only be a single. But I have to say, when I left and it was 78 for 5, this is actually quite a decent turnaround by these two. That 150 Nick was mentioning, funnily enough, is hoving back into view.
Oh.
As that is smacked straight to the fielder.
Slower
and well bowled Noah Cornwall. Just did for Luke Benkenstein there, and he has just whammed it straight to extra cover, and he's gone for a very good 26 of 21 deliveries. But he has gone, and it's 121 for 7.
Yeah, that was well bowled. I sensed it was a slower ball. What I haven't seen, because we're not quite close to the action, from up in, if I called it high third man, I just sensed he might have rolled his fingers down the side of the ball. It certainly came out slower, so to give the bowler credit there, he's done Benkenstein for lack of pace. Maybe it just rolled out as a bit of an off-cutter for Cornwell, and very well bowled, young man. So well done, good skill, having been hit by Harmer down back past him, first ball of the over. Your first ball and your last ball of your overs are the hardest to bowl. One, because you've been grazing at fine leg third man and you're not into your bowling rhythm, and then your last ball, having bowled 5 decent balls, you know there's pressure, because it can go horribly wrong.
No, we saw that a lot the other night, and that's punched away on the back foot. What a nice shot that is. That should go all the way for 4. Well, welcome to the crease, Shane Snater. Lovely shot off the back foot, beating that cover fielder, who is out on the boundary to stop exactly that shot. But nothing he could do about that one.
No, Shane Snater is a cousin of Jason Roy, but he's a very effective number 9, and we need him here.
Oh, and that doesn't miss off stump by a great deal, but it does miss off stump, and at the end of Noah Cornwell's over, he's picked up his first wicket of the match. He now has figures of, is it 1 for 30 odd in his 3 overs?
I think that went for 9 or 10. 9. Look, I don't think it was a bad over. He got an important wicket. But I just think, as a bowler, knowing the emotions, he went for 2 4s. You don't mind going for 1 4, but maybe the one against Harmer he will regret, because it was quite full, and it was an easy scoring opportunity. Right, Tom Helm. I've known Tom since his Buckinghamshire days as a young cricketer, and Tom's on his way from us at the Sir Alistair Cook end, and it's bowled it short. Harmer has hoiked it into the leg side, where they will take a simple single. Yeah, Tom Helm came to my festivals many years ago at the minor counties at the Royal Hospital School, representing Buckinghamshire, and Max Holden represented Cambridgeshire.
Yes, that I did know. I did know that he hailed from there.
Noah Thane as Cambridgeshire. We had Charlie Allison as part of the North Essex. Many cricketers have come through. So in comes Tom Helm, played off the back foot for a quick single. What smart cricket there from Shane Snater. Wasn't necessarily looking for the big shot. He was looking to make sure that he can rotate the strike and get his captain Harmer, who's on 20, back on strike.
Indeed. And Harmer's, well, this is a captain's knock at the moment. Just giving some stability, really.
Tom Helm working his way, played for England A. This down the leg side. He'll regret that, because he's tried to keep it tight to the batsman, but he's shoved it down the leg side, where Davies easily moves to the leg side to ensure there's no byes. Just a single wide to be repeated.
Yeah, Tom Helm, early in his career, was certainly being monitored by England, but didn't quite ever make the extra breakthrough. Injuries didn't help.
Tall man, high action, slower ball down the leg side, and it is another wide. The reason pick that up is there wasn't so much venom on the ball, and we could see it easily bounce again. Didn't have the carry, so again, in my mind, it was a slower ball that just was the wrong line to be bowled again. Don't bowl too many wides at the death here. Have to finish your action off to bring it on the straight. In he comes down the leg side again, and another wide, and it's going to go for a run as well, so 2 wides. That's the 4th wide, David, in this over? Third, so it's going to be at least a 9-ball over.
Correct.
David, how many wides altogether so far? 6. That's not too bad.
It's half the wides.
Yeah, you don't want any more. Don't want any more. In comes Helm. Finish your action off. He does. It's a slower ball, and it's gone down to 45 on the leg side, where there is a man on the inner circle, one of the 4. Harmer now to face. Looking at the other guys on the inner circle, well, there's, as I said, 45 saving 1, and he's not really saving. Oh, they've changed it. As I mention it, he's gone out of the circle, but he's been called back up. So mid-off is going back. We've got a fly slip inside the circle, backward point, extra cover, and short fine leg. This is driven into the leg side. There is 1 run to Harmer. That's actually well bowled. Harmer can't get underneath that. He's bowled it so full that Harmer's driven it into the leg side and takes the single only. That's a better ball. I mean, he has bowled, looking at the TV, he's gone for 4 runs off the bat, 4 singles and 3 further wides. So Helm won't want to bowl any more extras. In he comes, bowls. This is a bit of room, and is there a Corton behind? No. As Snater gives himself a bit of room, he has a little swish at the ball, trying to go through the offside on the short boundary. He plays a miss, but Helm and the keeper do inquire with each other.
It was one of those very polite ones, though, wasn't it? And Jack Davies, who would appeal if he thought it was half a shout, certainly didn't seem terribly interested.
Helm turns. Mid-off has gone back to the boundary. In comes Helm. Helm, slower ball, forced into the leg side. That's actually quite well bowled. They're going to take a single. Snater collects it and will keep the strike after that very long Helm over. When he didn't bowl a wide, he actually bowled a decent delivery, to be honest, to restrict Essex. But there were wides in that over, 3 of them. So looking at the scoreboard now, Essex have moved to 134 for 7. And we're all praying, it's Sunday, and I'm praying that Nick Gledhill is right and we'll get his 150.
Well, it will be a heck of an effort to recover from 85 for 6 if they do, but Simon Harmer continues to play safely. If he can just have the support he needs at this stage, Middlesex, well, they'll be delighted that they've got Essex at this point, but might feel as if they just took their foot off the Essex neck and allowed them back into this a bit. But it will be Noah Cornwell to bowl his final over, and that's a good first delivery. Snater trying to have a bit of a heave from outside off and missed it. It was through him really before he could finish the shot. So
it's interesting, cat and mouse here. He's bowled that just outside off stump, which is good because he doesn't want to bowl too straight to that shorter boundary. So Snater has to either go across to find the shorter boundary or go into out to the offside.
Cornwell in again, and that's Yorker length, and that's really well bowled. If you can bowl that delivery at this stage, you're doing well.
There was a great debate just recently about, do the older cricketers try and encourage the modern day cricketers to go to the Yorker? On some of these smaller grounds, that's a gamble.
Yep.
But that box back in my day was larger than today's modern day cricketer.
And that is spanked away, but just straight up to long off, and there is just the 1 run. And this is another decent delivery from Cornwall.
Yeah, very much so. Just talking about another left armer, John Lever. John Lever was a very good death bowler, but his area that they back then we didn't play scoops, reverse smacks or anything like that. So that box to hit a Yorker was slightly bigger than it is today in modern cricket.
And that is just smashed away. What a shot that is. I think it's gone all the way, hasn't it?
It has.
It has. What a shot. Just, he missed that very small box.
He did that very, yeah, absolutely. It probably, look, it was in Harmer's slot, as we call it. He's an immensely powerful, long-levered man, Simon Harmer, and he just got a ball. They're replacing the ball because I think it's bounced and gone over the fence.
Into the flat.
Yeah, it has, into the retirement flats. Someone will have a nice memento tonight when they go and have a look at their lupins that have just come out. Or, yeah, it's that time of year. Irises are out.
But they've nearly finished. As that's a remarkable shot because he nailed that Yorker and a brilliant piece of fielding. If I was Noah Cornwell and that had gone for 4, I'd have been quite miffed because I nailed that delivery and Harman somehow dug it out powerfully.
With those big bats.
With those big bats and those big levers.
Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't a bad delivery. It was almost a low full toss and Harmer played it well. He's probably, well, keep an eye on Harmer here. Will he go back even further into his crease to try and muck up the length?
Cornwall here again, and Cornwall's unafraid, but that's been slapped for 4. This is brilliant batting by Harmer because I have to say Cornwall did not bowl a terribly bad delivery. Well, one baddish delivery, one over-pitch one that went for 6, but the rest he bowled pretty well, and it's 147 for 7 and 13 came off.
If you advertise this role for a bowler in tomorrow morning's paper, it really wouldn't sound too attractive.
No, you're absolutely right.
I'm being brutally honest. Playing T20, who would want and who would be a bowler? You have to be phlegmatic. I don't know if that is that the right word. You've got to be calm about it.
Yeah.
Some days you'll do well, some days it won't go your way. As Tom Helm completes the Middlesex bowling with a final over, that is beautifully bowled. That is a Yorker, probably about leg stumpish, where Snater can't do anything about it. That was dead eye. That was a tremendous spearoing in delivery from against Shane Snater.
I was just trying. How many has the skipper got now?
33. Harmer's got 33, and he's watching from the other end with sitting on his bat handle. A slower ball. This has gone down the ground. Holman's underneath it in front of us, and he takes a simple catch. It was well bowled again. It was an off-cutter bowled by Tom Helm, and Snater's gone with the arc, and he's hit it into the leg side, hoping to find the Tom Pearce stand or the river stand that we're commentating from, but he doesn't. He hits it too high. It's been missed time, and Luke Holman snares it. Easy catch, but very effective there. Well done, Shane Snater, who's batted well with Harmer, but he's out now. Essex 147 for 8.
Yeah, it's well bowled. Tom Helm's got 3 wickets in a match for the 3rd match running. So.
What's his figures? What's he gone for, David? 23, 3 for 23.
And that includes 3 wides.
Yeah, he probably finished up nearly bowling. How many wides has he bowled himself? 3 of the 6. Okay. Well bowled, Tom Helm. Helm now bowling to the Essex new batsman. Harmer calls for a single. There's what a good bit of fielding. He swoops number 28. Who's that? That is Eskenazi.
It is Eskenazi, and the skipper, if he had hit.
He swoops, he picks it up well. He turns to ensure he can throw with his right hand. He shies at the stumps. Cook wouldn't have even been in the television frame, would he?
No.
He was in a different postcode.
He was in Colchester.
Chelmsford boy, Sam Cook, now a Test cricketer. Helm in, short, pulled into the leg side. That could be one. Are they going to take two? They are. Harmer's going to try and get back. And the throw isn't quite accurate.
No.
Harmer gets in. Good running. Good calling from Essex. Harmer gets the two. Essex move to 150. Nick Gledhill, who is running at Plumpton tomorrow, please. And, well, that's good from Harmer. The throw allowed him to get home because it would have to be a quality throw, and unfortunately was a little bit under pressure. So Helm bringing mid off into the circle, fine legs gone back. It's going to be a cutter, I predict. It's a short ball cutter, and it's gone for 6 on the longest part of the boundary. Maybe that plan wasn't the best one because Harmer saw it. He swivelled, he made a good connection, and it sailed over the Middlesex fielder, the boundary, and ended up into what we term here at Chelmsford the temporary crowd, which is where they bring the boundary in front of the pavilion. What a wonderful shot for Essex. 6 runs. Helm on his way in. He won't bowl short. It's a slower cutter. It's in the air. Could be in the air to the fielder, and it is snaffled very easily. And Harmer's knock's gone, and that concludes the afternoon for Essex, who are 156. I think it is now for 9. So 156 does represent not a pass score. It represents a score that may be defendable if Essex field like caged tigers and bowl beautifully. And there is a little bit of help for the spinner. They've got 3 spinners, but Essex finished their 20 overs on 156 for 9. Don't forget they were 60 for no wicket, with a great platform provided by Rossington and indeed Dean Elgar. Have you got the bowling figures with you? Have you got an idea?
I do.
Do you? Well, if you mention those, because I think it's really quite significant to mention those, because I look, there were a few wides, but I think they bowled pretty well. They actually fielded quite well as well. Ground fielding and catching was pretty good from Middlesex. Essex, well, they lost a few wickets. Maybe they looked a bit of a side without confidence, having set a platform up. But if it wasn't for Simon Harmer's contribution
top scoring.
What did he score
41.
at the end? 41. It was a great knock from Simon Harmer. But the Middlesex bowling figures, please.
Yeah, they'll be pretty pleased. Noah Cornwall 1 for 41 from his 4 overs. But remember, his first over only cost 2, so it's a little bit expensive after that. Josh Little, after an expensive first over, fought back well. 1 for 25 from his 4. Then we got the standout bowler yet again. It was interesting. Tom Helm. He's finished with 4 for 32, but he still snatched his cap for that 4th wicket as Harmer was caught, because he was so cross about the 6, the ball before.
Wasn't great a plan. I understand using the long boundary, but he shouldn't have given him an easy scoring opportunity.
It was too. But 4 for 32, that's 10 wickets he's taken in the last 3 matches, Tom Helm. So vital for him. Zafar Gohar 1 for 31, and then the other standout bowler, as he is so often, Luke Holman 2 for 27 from his 4 overs.
2 for 27 bowling his fast leg spin.
Yeah. So going for less than 7 and over. So it was terrific from him, but he's been doing that for the last 3 seasons. But Middlesex at the halfway point would have thought they had this game in the bag. They won't feel like that now because their batting hasn't been great.
I would say, if I'm not a betting man, but I would say 55-45 in Middlesex's favour at the halfway.
I think that's fair, but no more than that.
Guy Swindles, thank you very much. You're going to join us when we start in a moment. Nick Gledhill's going to come in and we're just going to talk a quick bit of cricket, maybe Test cricket, maybe a little bit of IPL as well, but he'll also bring us up to date with scores elsewhere. So we'll have a chat about that. But just to remind ourselves, it was 60 for none before Essex lost Rossington. Rossington made 31, Elgar made 32. Benkenstein was a spirited 26. Harmer, for me, was a fantastic batting performance by the captain under pressure. He made 41, and that was really predominantly the scorers in Essex's innings. Having been asked to bat, Essex made in their 20 overs 156 for 9. Nick Gledhill, you didn't think, well, you were hoping hoping and praying, it's Sunday, that Essex got to 150, and you were right.
Yeah, well, it's possibly defendable if the spinners bowl well, because I think there's going to be something in it for them, but a bit worried about Williamson. He's rather set up for him. I think he's going to be a crucial wicket to get early. Now, talking of wickets, England have just got their second one. They've had to wait for it for a while at Bristol, but Shea Hope is out for 49 there, and they are 90 for 2 with Johnson Charles on 36. So England getting a second breakthrough in that one. As we mentioned earlier, the Lions are playing at Northampton in the unofficial test match. That's going to be day 2 there, and
we're pitch side. We have got the Zambrero Burrito Challenge coming up, which I'm going to go through with you in a second. But there's a slightly special feel to this one. Delighted to be joined by Jason from Woodland Group. Jason, why is this race going to be slightly different for us today?
Do you know what, guys? It's been a tough season for not Woodland Group, but Redstones, who team that I've played for a few years. We've been a staple in Chiltern Premier
times,
for 10
for example,
years.
in
This year was
Bears
the
and
first
Derbyshire
year
yet to start, but Hampshire 107 for 4
tested in
after
different
13
levels
overs, and just for once the big guns haven't fired there.
Came down to the last game.
Lots
And
of
these
20s
two
for
guys
Hampshire
dressed as
today,
burritos today with a reason that we stayed up.
for
Right?
Hampshire
Look at them.
at Canterbury,
you can't
and
see them now.
Northampton,
You'll
top
see
of the
them on
North Group,
socials
100%
later.
record,
But
180
we
for
stayed up.
6 against Lancashire at the end of the 20 overs.
And thank you
Let's do
to
our
fans.
customary check
We've got
to see if
about
Jimmy
10
got any
fans that watch
wickets,
us
and he
every
did.
week,
He
which
got
is great
3 for 31, James Anderson,
Premier
off
League,
4
but,
overs.
Here we go.
32 for Vasconcelos, and Bopara 28 from 22 balls. I did hear one suggestion online during the
Perfect. So, in summary, our two contestants here, the best friends are here, really. If we jump behind, all we've got to do, we've got to go through the ladders. We've got to bunny hop over the hurdles, gents. We're zigzagging through the cones, and then we've got 5 press-ups in the green box at the end to do. Once you've done that, it's exactly the same coming back. Our player of the season will be the first person to cross the green cone line. Lads, you look absolutely fantastic in your burrito outfits. All right, here we go. We've got 3, 2, 1, go!
Released, sadly, from Benkenstein's point of view, from the moment he left, they just seem to have relaxed. They're playing their
It's a good start. We're into the box, we're into the press-ups. He's coming up off the ground. He's off. We're zigzagging. We're bunny hopping. He wants the award. He's done it.
Warwickshire performing a bit patchily in the North Group this year.
And he's off for a lap of honour. Not only is he our player of the season, but he's also got himself 10 free burritos from our friends at Zambrero. I'm off to join him to get the first 2 in. He's got a new girlfriend as well. There we go. Congratulations to you, sir. You are player of the season and our burrito champion in partnership with Zambrero.
It has.
So they could change their modus operandi. They could have a fresh and the shackles were taken off. They could end up were taken off, and they could end up playing cricket with freedom in the T20, having had a dreadful start in the championship.
Essex made 156 for 9. They were at various points 60 for no wicket and 78 for 6. And Jordan Cox coming back on Thursday. Don, someone's going to have to make way. The irony is, if you look at it on paper, you might say that Charlie Allison is vulnerable. But I have to say, the last time that I thought Charlie was vulnerable on the side,
Yes, we need a spinner. India plays spinners well. Will he guarantee the overs? I don't know. But England will want to play Bethel and they will want to pack the batting. I really do think England will want to pack the batting. So we shall see. Welcome back, Guy Swindles, BBC Radio London, Don Topley and Nick Ledhill from BBC Essex, and you're listening to us through the app and the web, but also through the new channel of Sports Extra 3. Shane Snater to start proceedings for Essex, this time against Eskenazi, the skipper, opening, very talented batsman, has scored many runs against England. Now we've got Eskenazi, the captain, and to face now, having got a single onto the leg side, it's going to be New Zealand's Kane Williamson. Keeper standing up, Rossington coming up to the stumps for both, which is a great asset in cricket to see the keeper stand up. Shane Snater bowling from the Graham Gooch end. Kane Williamson facing, and Snater's in. Williamson plays into the leg side, takes an easy single, and it'll be interesting to see, taking it into the leg side down to backward square leg where there is a fielder. He doesn't need, these two technically don't need to take Essex on in the power play.
No, but they still need to score 160, so they still need to go at 8 and over. So it's still not a gimme. So I would suggest they mustn't hold back too much.
Snater in. Oh, Eskenazi goes way outside off stump and scoops it. It is quite full, and he scooped it safely over Mohammed Amir at fine leg, who's up in the inner circle. So absolute quality shot, quality execution, and he's collected himself 4 runs.
It's funny, you can tell it's an Essex home match because nobody applauded that, and it really was a really, really good shot.
Snater in again, slower ball cutter outside off stump, and this time he's gone outside off stump as the Middlesex captain, and Snater, to his credit, has followed him. He's gone way outside off stump, and it would have been a wide if he stayed in where he took his guard, if he stayed straight in front of the stumps, but he didn't. He had moved. I have to say, well bowled, Shane Snater. This time, what does he do? This time he plays a 4 defensive out to backward point, where Elgar does the slick fielding and picks it up and throws it to the keeper, and there is a valuable dot ball. Eskenazi, you watch them often. He likes to run around the crease, try and mess the bowler up.
He does. He likes to stay busy and just put the bowler off wherever he can. Wonderful record in white ball cricket, though probably feels it hasn't quite been. Oh, he gets away with one there.
He does. Snater has bowled and he's gone over the leg side, but he hasn't. He's got an outside edge that has sailed over the slips, and it nearly went to Charlie Allison fielding beneath us on the river stand, but he's had to pick it up after it bounced, threw it in, and they've come back for the single. So that was an interesting over that's probably cost 8 runs, David?
Yep.
8 runs there for Middlesex, and the score then is
8 without loss.
8 without loss, and Simon Harmer's going to bowl from the Sir Alistair Cook end, and Guy Swindles is going to describe the action.
Well, it's bold from the captain, but he's just batted beautifully, so why not open with some spin? Kane Williamson's giving the bat a very good twirl and just making sure that he knows exactly where every fielder is as Snater comes in and drops that short, but it's a bit clothed by Williamson, who doesn't time it, and it goes to Walter at backward square leg, and there is no run.
It's a treat watching Williamson, isn't it?
When he gets, yes.
But he needs some runs.
Yeah, he's sort of flattered to deceive so far. Got 20 good runs against Glamorgan the other day, and that's punched nicely off the back foot up to mid-on. Snater does the fielding, but they trot through for an easy single.
He's more of a traditional player rather than a bish bash bosh. You know,
yes.
he's the New Zealand version of Joe Root.
He's still got a strike rate of over 120 at T20 level, and Eskenazi gets plenty of the bat on that, but it's a good tumbling stop to his right.
He's a good player, Eskenazi. He's an awkward player to bowl at.
Yeah, he's averages over 30 in T20s and strike rate of just under 140. Probably hasn't quite played as well as he knows he can yet this season, and moments last, but if he gets in, he is frightening. As Snater comes in, that's full toss, and it's just, that's help yourself. And indeed, that is exactly what Stephen Eskenazi has done by flicking said full toss between the two fielders backwards of square for 4 runs.
I just wonder whether Harmer saw him move before he bowled it and changed where he was going to bowl, and ended up trying to bowl it very full in case he was looking to sweep, but he gave him an easy run scoring opportunity by bowling that full toss. I'm sure he didn't mean to bowl it, probably meant to bowl a half volley stroke Yorker.
Yes, sort of. I know what you're doing, you know what I'm doing, and that's a lovely, absolutely beautiful. He's not trying to ramp it, he's not trying to do anything except play the most beautiful cover drive for 4. And Eskenazi has started well here, and
he has
9 off that over with those 2 boundaries off the final 2 balls, and the score is 19 without loss, 17 without loss now.
He's a very good player, and as I say again, and you won't be surprised where I've got that opinion from, that he's an awkward player to bowl at, and what he just did then, he just came down the wicket slightly and made sure he got to the pitch of the ball. It wasn't a bad ball, it wasn't a run scoring ball, but he made it into a run scoring ball. Great shot through the covers. Mohammed Amir from the top end, the Graham Gooch end, where this time Kane Williamson. I wonder how many times these two have fought in games between Pakistan and New Zealand, but he's opened the face of the bat and run it down to Snater at third man, where they take a single.
It's lovely watching Kane Williamson and players. The soft hands there. I know it was only a single. I know it was only to third man, but the timing and everything about it was. You can tell he's a special player even when he's scoring singles.
Amir in, left arm over the wicket, and it's a decent ball. There's probably not a lot of pace in this wicket, but it was short of a length. He's played and missed it, and it's just managed to get to Rossington. Maybe Rossington will come in half a yard, but what we're seeing here is now change of third man comes up, fine leg goes back, Cook's gone back, Snater's come up into the inner circle. So I'm wondering whether they're going to target a little straighter, having seen that ball just about reach the keeper. In he comes, short of a length is pulled, that's going to go for 4. That's not a good delivery. Short, pulled into the leg side. Eskenazi collects 4 with an average ball really there. A little too short, too easy for Middlesex.
Yeah, not what you expect really from Mohammed Amir, but he's just started his spell, and the occasional loose one can creep in, but
yeah.
And Eskenazi's finding himself in the zone at the moment as well.
Ring on the offside for the Essex fielders. Gives himself a bit of room, and he's given himself a bit of room to go through that Essex offside, or indeed over the Essex. 5 Essex fielders saving 1, and he's given himself room, but he hasn't executed it quite well, as he's got an inside edge into the floor, into the offside, and timed it.
Yeah, and didn't miss the stumps by much either, I don't think. So a little bit of a getting away with it.
So we've seen him go across his stumps, and we've seen him go back and away to hit through the offside. Amir short. Oh, this is going to be a boundary, but it's a top edge as it sails over Rossington. Little moral victory there for the bowler. Well bowled. It was a genuine bouncer, but it's cost Essex 4 and Mohammed Amir 4, because it's a top edge straight over the keeper.
Yeah, and he got enough of it, didn't he? He went for it, Eskenazi, and yeah, it wasn't where he meant the ball to go, but went a long way over Rossington, so he got quite a bit of it, and you can afford to play that shot with in the power play with all the fielders up. If you get enough, it's going to clear them.
Could have gone anywhere, could have gone straight up or down to fine leg. This time it's going to be a single. It's on a length, played into the leg side, and Essex will give them the one for the final ball of the over, which means it's 27, David? 27 for no wicket. You're listening to BBC Essex, BBC Radio London, and you've got Guy Swindles, you've got Nick Gledhill, Don Topley, and our scorer David Jackman. Not many BBC broadcasts have a scorer. They do it Test Match Special, but it's always good to have David Jackman, our scorer, in the commentary box. Now, you're going to be commentating on one of England's newest Test cricketers.
Ah, yes, Sam Cook.
Well done, Sam. Can never take it away from him.
He got a wicket as well. As right arm over the wicket from the Sir Alistair Cook end, and that's really just Eskenazi just drops the bat on it, flicks it into the leg side where two fielders have to run about half a mile in to actually pick the ball up from the vast distances in front of the pavilion, and they trot through for an easy single. And at the moment Eskenazi has had I was just trying to work out how much more of this. He's faced 15 balls to Williamson's 4 at the moment. So Kane Williamson now facing his 5th ball, and that's punched nicely on the back foot, but straight to Simon Harmer at mid-off, and there is no run. Williamson, I think he's just changing his guard, possibly a little. He's just certainly checking with the umpire.
I'd love to know, Guy, where he's gone from to. Has he gone giving himself a bit of room, or has he gone further over to off stump? I don't know. Love to know.
Or did he just lose his mark? And that's swept round the corner, and they take a single, and it's an acrobatic piece of work by, I think, Mohammed Amir in the field, but they still managed to go through for an easy single, and even if he had hit the stumps, Eskenazi was certainly there, but things a little quieter in this Sam Cook over than hitherto for so far in this innings. Just a couple of singles from it, the first 3 balls. Eskenazi will be looking to put the pedal to the metal now as Cook comes in. And that goes down the leg side and is a wide.
Yeah, fair, very fair. Essex can't afford many in this innings. They've got to field beautifully, they've got to bowl well, not give any charitable additional balls, no balls wides. Essex have to be disciplined this afternoon.
Cook is in once again. And that's a nice delivery, but it's good running. With Rossington well back and literally just tapped down in front of him. That was tap and go, and they go through, well, for in the end what was a very easy single, but it's only a single, and Cook is applying some breakage here when his team needed it. Eskenazi just doing up his laces again, and he's being told to hurry up by the wicketkeeper a bit, by the umpire a bit, and probably the wicketkeeper, but certainly the umpire. Eskenazi now is belaced and ready to go. As Cook is in once again, and that's into the pads of Kane Williamson. It looks as if it was going down the leg side. Certainly the umpire wasn't interested, but it's another dot ball.
I think he's gone slightly across his stumps on his guard. I'm guessing that.
So you think he's gone more middle?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, I do. Yeah. Trying to just, if they're going to bowl straight, I'm going to try and get, there's plenty of gaps in the leg side.
Well, Williamson finds a gap in the leg side, but only for one, and that is a really tidy over by Sam Cook, and correctly gets the applause, with the score moving on to 32 without loss, just the 5 runs from it, and that included a wide. But after 4 overs, Middlesex almost directly on course, 8 and over. They're 32 after 4, which is 8 and over.
It was when you were at school. We're going to see a slight... Is there a bowling change? Let me just have a look.
No, is it Snater back again?
Into the attack. He bowled the first over. He's now bowling the fifth over, isn't it? First and fifth. 2 in the power play for Shane Snater. Keeper up. In comes Snater. This is down the leg side. It's helped on its way. Mohammed Amir is in the inner circle at 45, and I have to say that was a very good shot. Probably a little bit angled down the leg side, and probably got what it deserved.
Yeah, it's just the way Kane Williamson didn't seem to put any effort into that shot particularly.
Just helped it.
Just helped it, and it's flown miles for 6 over fine leg.
Use the pace. Shane Snater finish your action off. In he comes, bowls, and this is a play and a miss as slower ball, but it's well taken by Rossington, who whips the bails off, but alas for Essex, Williamson hadn't left his crease.
Lovely piece of keeping though, wasn't it, by Rossington off the... He's not slow, Shane Snater, but Rossington seems to like standing him up, and he beat Williamson too. So good bowling and fielding all round.
No messing about from Rossington. This is cut and it's wide, and unfortunately it's gone over backward point, and I think it will sail for 4. It does indeed, as the umpire Bainton signals 4. Just got to be honest there, that's short and wide, and that's an easy scoring shot offered. And he's bowled a good ball the ball before, but sadly this one wasn't, and it's cost Essex badly for 4.
Yeah, it wasn't far above the head of backward point, but far enough. Nicely judged.
You needed Paul Water there at least. This time it's clipped. It's a little straighter, played into the leg side where it goes all the way out to deep square leg, where there is a fielder, and Williamson is off strike where he takes another run. So we look at Williamson now. He's got 16. Eskenazi facing. He's got 26. And they're probably close to being matching balls faced. So Eskenazi, who started quite violently, is now facing Snater with a slower ball. He looks to play a reverse sweep, but got himself in a bit of a tangle.
Yeah.
And to be fair to Rossington, who's standing up, he's taken the ball very well, because Eskenazi's moved out to try and reverse sweep it, and he's taken the bails off as well. So this over, we've seen 2 good pieces of keeping.
Absolutely right.
Snater in, right arm over the wicket, slower ball, which is forced into the leg side, and Walter dives at mid-on, and there's a misfield where he's parried it to his colleague, but it's only cost Essex 1 run. So well fielded Paul Water, he parried it, it didn't cost Essex anything, and they've got through the over, which I think 44 for none, and I think we're going to see Critchley into the attack. No, it's Cook again.
Right, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to let you.
You're staying on. It's me, Nick. Is patiently now. Listen, last innings I went no wickets down. Yep. And I came back to 6 wickets down.
Yep.
Good luck.
Yep. Well,
more of the same, please.
It will be Cook who comes in as and he's punched. Oh, magnificently! What a shot! Standing up, Eskenazi has just flicked that straight wide of mid-on. He must have thought that he was in with a chance for a second, and it's just flown to the boundary for 4. Wonderful timing from Eskenazi.
Yeah, it's a great start for Middlesex. Eskenazi going so well, and of course they've got just the presence of Williamson at the other end.
Yeah, and he's started to score. He scored the first 6 of the innings, and that's Eskenazi again, and he's ripped that through the covers. There was a bit of width from Cook, and Eskenazi has back-to-back boundaries. And again, the timing was such from the Middlesex skipper that no fielder stood a chance of cutting that off once he'd absolutely crashed it through the covers.
Yeah, economical first over for Cook, but a couple of boundaries at the start of his second.
Cook is in again, and that is smashed square, but straight to Paul Walter, who ensures on this occasion at least, the ball doesn't hurtle to the boundary for yet more runs. Indeed, Eskenazi remains on strike, which he has still had rather more. He's 35 from 21. Williamson has only faced 12 for his 16.
But he's still there. That's the worrying thing from S. He could just bat through here.
Short, just helped nicely round the corner. He decided not to take it on fully, Eskenazi, and just literally lapped it round the corner, and the man at deep square ran round and picked it up and kept them to a single.
Well, to be honest, Guy, there really should only be one winner of this match from here, and it's just a question of Middlesex keeping their focus. I think, the longer these two are together,
the stronger their position. Much,
well, there should be only one winner. You think about, a purely cricket situation.
And that is helped round the corner nicely by Richardson, who uses wrists well to just make sure that he plays it out into the deep open spaces and gets Eskenazi back on strike. The only thing I would say, Nick, is I seem to remember a certain team in this match being 60 for nothing
you're right.
After about 5 overs.
But isn't it one of the reasons they signed Williamson, just to produce this sort of calmness in this situation?
Oh, there's an interesting story about that, as that's punched away, and will go out to deep square, and they go through for another single, and that is a decent over after those initial boundaries, because 11 runs came from it, and after the power play, 55 without loss, Middlesex. Essex were 55 without loss after 5. Kane Williamson, understandably, is mainly here because he's captaining London Spirit. And Middlesex very cannily, and the MCC very cannily, decided to include a bit of Middlesex in amongst it. But you're absolutely right. Bringing that calm head to what is a pretty young team and can sometimes get a bit headless chicken has been a fantastic.
Eskenazi's got complete licence here with Williamson at the other end. Williamson's role here sure is going to be to try and bat through. Here is Amir from the Graham Gooch end bowls, and nice stroke from Eskenazi just off the back foot, running it down to Allison at third man. Cook, it remains to be seen, of course, whether he's going to play in this test match. If he doesn't, he could well be released for Essex for the 2 T20s at the end of the week. But Don was saying that Shoaib Bashir might not play. England potentially could play 5 seamers, including Stokes, Cast, Tongue and Wokes are the others, along with Cook. But we'll wait and see.
Atkinson's missing, isn't he?
Yeah, we'll wait and see. Atkinson's missing, as Amir bowls, and this is run down again, this time by Williamson. Similar shot to Allison at third man. But Essex urgently need wickets here. 57 for no wicket. This is round about the time the wickets fell in a heap in the Essex innings. 60 for no wicket to 78 for 6. They need a repeat dose, really, because Middlesex in a wonderful position. 7th over, and they must at the moment feel as though they're on course for this exactly 100, but they need 156 for 9 was the Essex score. Here's Amir again, bowls. Attempted reverse sweep, and a slight change of mind there from Eskenazi. In the end, he was able to actually almost withdrew the bat in the end from the shot as it went through to Adam Rossington.
Yes, when you're bowling to Steve Eskenazi, you're not quite sure which position he's going to end up trying to force the pace from you, and got himself in a bit of a muddle again, not for the first time.
Here is Amir from the Graham Gooch end, left arm around the wicket, bowls and driven nicely square into the offside for probably just the one. It's a long boundary, but Snater's very quick round there in front of the pavilion to make sure there's no chance of a second run as the sun comes out, which it's doing every now and again today, but it'll do that more than that as the week goes on. We're looking at quite high temperatures for Thursday's double header here. It's going to be Hampshire women and then the Glamorgan men against Essex on Thursday afternoon and evening. 58 for no wicket in the 7th. Middlesex chasing down this, or looking to chase down this 157 to give them their first win and deny Essex their first win of the competition. Here is Amir again, bowls a flatter one, a shorter one, attempted pull shot therefore from Williamson, but he makes no contact.
Rather missed out on that.
Yeah, it was rather there. It sat up, didn't it? Short boundaries hitting to as well. But there's a deep mid wicket and a deep backward square leg. There's a deep cover, quite square on the boundary. as well. Got 4 saving 1, and there's also a fine leg just out of our sight in front of the scoreboard. Mainly cloudy, but sun coming in and out. Lovely afternoon. At 58 for no wicket as Amir bowls and misses, hit in the air and over short third man for 4. Just had to make sure he got that over the head of Elgar. Played it late, Williamson, but pretty safe. It was fine of Elgar and well over his shoulder, and he goes to 22. Eskenazi there on 39. One thing about this new scoreboard is those figures for the batters are quite awkward to read from a distance, but I think we're right. 62 for no wicket after 7.
Yep. And both feet off the ground for that shot from Kane Williamson. Seems to have been a few of those in different matches recently, but super to see. Took it on, and Middlesex needed that. And we have spin. As into the attack comes Matt Critchley from the Alistair Cook end.
Give you some news from the women's blast, either during or at the end of this over.
Matt Critchley. Right arm over, and that's just helped into the leg side. And there's certainly one, and only one.
So Lancashire women beating Warwickshire women in a tight match at Edgbaston. So Lancashire go up to 8 points. Essex on 9 at the moment. But Surrey look like going clear at the top of the table. It looked like chasing down their target against Durham at the Oval. Surrey 74 for no wicket in the 7th, chasing Durham's 141 for 5. That's in the women's blast.
As Critchley is in again, and that's played defensively by Kane Williamson, out to extra cover, no run.
And I do think, Guy, that the format of the women's blast with the 2 tiers, it might be replicated in a few years' time, with that when the 100 becomes T20.
Short and pulled away for a single into the deep.
Well, we think the 100's going to become T20. It's not certain yet, but I think there's a fair chance it might do.
There's a fair few owners who will probably push in that direction.
Yeah. And who knows, we might have a separate 2-tier competition with no promotion and relegation, but the counties being part of it.
That's a very nice looking shot from from Stephen Eskenazi, but it's driven straight to long off, and they can only take a single. So this is tidy stuff at the moment from Matt Critchley.
Don's asked for his 6 wickets, but he hasn't got them yet.
Actually in again, fast arm action.
It's fair to say, Guy, that the Essex bowling attack as a unit, particularly the seamers, have struggled in this competition. They made a reasonable score down at Cardiff at Glamorgan. Well, they made a bit of heavy weather of it towards the end, to be honest, but they're always going to get there.
And that is cut away nicely, but there is a man out at deep cover, so they can just go through for a single, and that's a very tidy over. And at the end of that, the score has gone up to 66, so just the 4 runs from that, the 8th over. And
the one thing an over like that will do, if it's backed up by another similar one, is just create a little bit of scoreboard pressure. But while Middlesex are none down, they should be feeling relatively comfortable, particularly with Kane Williamson there, and obviously Eskenazi looking in good form. So 8 overs gone. The required rate is 7.6 from the last 12 overs. With 10 wickets in hand, normally, in a normal cricket situation, you'd say you'd really back the batting side. But I take your point that Middlesex have occasionally flattered to deceive in such situations. BBC Essex and BBC Radio London, online via the BBC Sport website and app, and also on 5 Sports Extra 3, where you'll hear, also on the other Sports Extra channels, selected games from this competition and the women's competition as well. And it's going to be Paul Walter who's going to bowl now from the Graham Gooch end. Almost gets a chop on there. Unfortunate, because that just dipped in a little bit at Williamson, and he was fortunate to get it past his leg stump, and Rossington gathers in and they've scampered through for a single. 67 for no wicket, Williamson 25.
Yeah, not for the first time we've seen a little inside edge dribble past, and it could have been more trouble than in fact it ended up being.
It's one of those odd stories you don't often see just come up on the web, as this is driven away just past cover, and it's going to be a quick single here for Eskenazi. Just a little push shot into the offside. Yes, I'm getting used to this scoreboard being so quick. 42 from 29 for Eskenazi, 68 for no wicket. And Luciano Spalletti has been sacked as Italy's head coach after the 3-0 loss to Norway, but he'll still take charge against Moldova on Monday. You're sacked, but you're still in charge. Here's Walter. It's an unusual one. This is played off the back foot and out towards the deep backward point, and there's one run. You just feel it might be quite hard to motivate the players with a manager that's been sacked.
I'm not listening
69
to
for no wicket. So 3 singles at the start of this over. They're chasing 157. 69 for no wicket. Walter 3 singles from his 3 overs.
Yeah, I thought it was you clapping.
Here's Walter again. Coming in to bowl, and that's hit away in the air, out towards third man. It's complete miscue, it's safe. Things going Middlesex's way. They come back for a second run. It was a complete miscue. It went virtually in the opposite direction from which Eskenazi was intending. I think he was trying to hit that towards straight mid-wicket, and it's flown off a leading edge, quite close to third man, who couldn't get round. There was a couple of runs, 71 for no wicket. Yeah,
the second time Eskenazi's played that interesting shot and got away with it. But yeah, it's just having. He's aware though that the run rate's just slipped in the last 2 or 3 overs, and it needs to be cranked up a little, otherwise it's going to be a rush at the end.
Walter bowls again, and he goes on the pull shot, but that one he just threw the shot a little bit too soon. Nice bowling with disguise from Walter as the ball thudded into the mid-drift of Eskenazi, who's there on 44 from 31. Williamson 26 from 22, 71 for no wicket, 7.7 the asking rate. And yes, if Essex could just put a couple of tight overs back to back and just produce the mistake, that might be the route here, but they're going to have a clatter of wickets just like they had in their innings. It's going to have to be replicated. Mid-on, the only fielder saving a single on the leg side, 3 on the offside, and this is a slower ball from Walter, which is played pretty well by Eskenazi, wide of the mid-on we've just mentioned. They get through for a single. He keeps the strike. The end of the 9th, 72 for no wicket. The target is 157. And interestingly, does it have the Essex score on that ball? Oh, it does, but it's so small you can barely see it. It's just underneath the Middlesex score. That would be excellent for an eye test, I reckon.
I'm not even bothering. It's too far away.
156 for 9 was the Essex score. Middlesex 72 without loss. Eskenazi 45 and Williamson 26.
Yeah, no, I'm impressed with you and Don's ability to make out everything on that scorebook. Anyway, we have another change in. No, we don't. It is Matt Critchley to continue. Just remarking out his garden. That's cut away backward of square, but there is a man out at deep cover who, with a tumbling stop, ensures that it's only the one. And Eskenazi can just sense a little frustration. He's moved to 46 or 33. He's played really well, but he just wants to get a move on. And that's punched away to the same man by Kane Williamson on this occasion.
It's Canterbury, Hampshire, 177 for 7. Batting first there. Joe Wetley, 63, not out. They've still got Bjorn and Benny to bowl, of course, the ABBA duo, who are in good form.
That's short, faster ball, and spotted by Eskenazi, who tries to find the gap out at deep mid-wicket. He can't, it's cut off, but because it is such a long boundary on that side of the ground, they can go through for 2.
It could be a good game, actually. Hampshire with a 100% record at the moment.
So, Critchley in again, and that is hammered away. And that is a good shot, and that's gone for 4. And that brings up Eskenazi's 50. And what a good 50 that's been, the first of the day so far.
Yeah, I mean...
and it's off 35 balls and 8 fours.
Yeah, it was that was a fine shot, and I don't know if you saw the last one there. Guybrush just backed it up with another single up towards long off, and
thank you.
You know, he's really been a top-class effort this from Eskenazi. They do look a very good contrasting styles opening pair.
They do at the moment, and that's a really lovely shot for 1. As we've said quite often watching Kane Williamson, it's a lovely shot, but it's only 1. Right, that is the end of the 10th over. I'm going to get out of here and let Toppers back in. But I leave him coming in with Middlesex in pretty good shape. 82 without loss, and they are chasing 160, so just ahead of where they need to be at this stage.
Well, one of the stories of the Blast campaign so far has got to be Northants.
Yes.
Are you a batter? Are you a bowler? Bit of both. You enjoy your cricket. Well, congratulations to Jasper, our Woodland Group Young Eagle of the match.
That will be 5 straight wins for Northants at the top of the North Division. So they're on course at the moment, and that could be quite a story. 82 for no wicket, and it's Amir in his 3rd over, coming round the wicket and bowling to the right-handed Williamson, and just tucks it away for a single out towards deep backward point. Snater, and I have to say the wickets you wanted, Don, haven't come. I'm just saying to Guy, this is a tremendously contrasting opening pair, but
yes,
they fire with their collective, what they bring to the game. It's great for Middlesex, and it is here. They're looking very good.
Yeah, very good. Competent, aggressive, calm at the other end.
Eskenazi there on 53 has the strike now, and that's played past the backward point down to Allison at 3rd man for a single. 84 for no wicket. And Essex have struggled with the ball really from the start of the competition, haven't they, Don? And it's unfortunately no different today at the moment. Possibly the score they've got, would have been another 20-25 runs but for that collapse.
Definitely, yep. They look a side lacking confidence. They had a good platform to start with the opening partnership earlier in the day, but we're struggling here. Essex need a wicket.
I wonder if they'd have batted second if Essex had won the toss. This is an attempt to swing the ball away down towards mid-wicket, but it's come off an inside edge from Williamson, but he gets a single down towards fine leg. It goes along to 29 from 20, 30 to 30 from 26. Eskenazi on 54, 85 for no wicket. They're in pursuit of 157. The asking rate, it's been hovering around 7.6 for a while, but it's not going up. That's the important thing from the Middlesex point of view. Looked quite tidy today, Middlesex, I have to say, in all facets of the game. And at the moment, they're very much on top as Amir bowls a short one. That's hit by Williamson and over deep mid-wicket for 6. He knew he was hitting it towards the short boundary. Eskenazi correction, he knew he was hitting it towards the short boundary. And it was like one of those tennis backhand smashes that I'm sure we're seeing between Alcaraz and Sinner today at the Roland Garros, and he just about cleared. I think it's Benkenstein out on a deep mid-wicket boundary for 6, and he goes along to 60, and it's 91 for no wicket.
Yeah, it was a swat.
Yep, we saw certainly some shots like that in the brilliant women's final yesterday. 91 for no wicket, and this is an attempt to reach for the ball and gets it up towards mid-off, but he's got the 6, and really anything else in the over is a bonus here. And Essex struggling to take wickets again, it has to be said. Eskenazi 60 from 39, Williamson 30 from 26, 91 for no wicket. And, well, at the moment, looking pretty much on course. The run rate they have is certainly in excess of what they need. The run rate currently 8.4, they only need 7.2, and that's just gone down a chunk with that 6 as well. Can Amir get a breakthrough here? He bowls and misses a gliding stroke off the back foot out towards Snater in front of the pavilion. A couple of ground staff come on, but, well, at the moment, you have to say with a single to end the over, that to me there's only one winner unless something really daft happens, and something daft did happen, you could say, when Essex went from 60 for no wicket to 78 for 6. 92 for no wicket, 7.2 is the ask. They're chasing 157. There's 9 overs to go.
Yep, difficult. Essex badly need a wicket to try and open the door. It's going to be Benkenstein into the attack from the Sir Alistair Cook end.
Batted nicely. Do you think, you were talking about the fact that Bashir might not play in the test at Headingley. Do you think they'll play the 5-seamers, which would give Cook a guaranteed game? I can't see Bethel batting at 8 or Smith batting at 8.
Okay, Benkenstein just holding up here, just gone to the crease to rub his hand in the dirt. Look, I think England will look to not play Bashir for back in the batting.
All right.
In comes Benkenstein. It's a quick leg spinner which has gone down the leg side. Will it run away? Was there anything on it as Mohammed Amir collects the ball? There must have been a bit of trouser or rump as it went down the leg side. So, or a bat actually. The umpire's not signalled. David? Runs.
Tell you what, that's a punishment for playing in the IPL. So you're playing him a test but batting at 8.
Yeah, has played into the leg side. They're only going to take one as Pepper runs in. You've also got Root and Bethel to bowl.
Yeah.
So look, I'm not saying that will happen.
No,
I'm saying it's an option.
Yeah.
It's an option.
I think, unfortunately, I've got a feeling that Cook's going to miss out. But because of the light for light with Wokes, if Wokes plays. Got to say,
Wokes hasn't had much cricket.
No, that might be the thing they have to decide.
Playing a test match is a big call. Benkenstein short, it's pulled into the leg side. It's going to go out to Snater at deep mid wicket where they take a singles, 96 for no wicket.
Interesting to see what the Australians do. I think they're going to open with Marnus and back Green at 3 and Webster at 6.
So the youngster will open, will he? There's a sweep, it's a top edge, I believe. It's gone over the keeper. We'll look at the umpire. Was it anything else?
Well,
no,
Khawaja will like you saying the youngster. I'm sure Khawaja and Marnus, I reckon it might be.
What was the name of the
Constas.
Yeah, that's right. Is he not going to?
Well, it's him or Marnus, I think, is the general thought at the moment. But
are you going to go to the World?
I might try and get. You're going, aren't you?
Yes, it has swept and it's gone down to, and I think he's out. It's a sweep. It's a top edge. Williamson has gone, as it's been well caught by Mohammed Amir at 45, diving to his right to pick it up just off sort of bootlace height. So well done, Essex. Benkenstein into the attack and immediately gets a wicket. So Middlesex in 97 for 1. Remind me, David, what was the power play score? 55. So Middlesex actually were just behind Essex in the power play, but they've only lost their first wicket at 97 for 1.
Well, there you go. That was the trick. Stop talking about this game. Talk about it, and the wicket might fall. Carry on doing that from an Essex point of view, but no. Obviously, quite a lot of interest as to whether Cook is actually going to play in that Test match, because I think he'll be released back to Essex if he doesn't. But it remains to be seen.
Well, Essex need him.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously Porter's not playing.
Got to think, of course, that it's the World Test Championship final that's this weekend, isn't it? So he'll be around for Essex for a while, and of course he'd only be withdrawn probably from the last couple of games before the return to the championship. So he'll be around for next week's games anyway. Cook.
Benkenstein to the new batsman who slices it to. Look at his. Will Geddes from formerly a Surrey, who's come out at number 3, who's enjoyed a very prosperous new campaign under Middlesex's flag, but he's done very well so far, played some good knocks.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about him. I think he's a highly respected young player.
So the World Test Championship starts on Wednesday. Potentially that could go into a 6th day. I don't think it will need to, because the weather forecast is pretty hot and sunny. And then the Test match, England and India, I think starts Friday week.
Headingley.
Yeah, at Headingley. So Cook would be available certainly for the games next Thursday and Friday. I mean, it can depend on whether he's selected for that Test match. So we'll wait and see on that. But at 97 for 1, chasing 157. Here comes Walter. Comes into bowl, and that's played away by Eskenazi down to backward point, and Elgar produces a good stop. Can Essex create some pressure now? That would be a key thing that they'll be looking to try and do. So, we've got the first fault of the new scoreboard, because they're saying that Allison is bowling, and it's Paul Walter. It looks like Paul Walter. It's his height, and it's number 22.
He stands out, doesn't he?
97 for 1. We're in the 13th, and this is played off the back foot and chopped away down towards deep backward point, but no reason for Middlesex to panic. Even with the loss of Williamson, they're surely very much in the box seat here. 98 for 1. It's been a good performance from Middlesex so far, and Essex, well, tough for the bowlers, because you feel a little bit light with the bat, as indeed, of course, they were last week, probably more so last week. So Eskenazi there on 66, and it's Geddes on strike, and he hits this one away up towards deep square leg. It's nicely stopped, one-handed stop out there, but that was Sam Cook with a bit of dexterity. perhaps quite awkwardly for him, and they get a single. So it's 99 for 1, chasing 157. So yes, it's odd, isn't it, with this World Test Championship final? They've already announced England's squad for the Test match. You have to keep your bearings as to what's happening when, but there's a lot of cricket going on.
Isn't there? I was just about to say that, Nick, with ODIs for
that's right, going on at the moment. Yeah,
absolutely.
As his Walter bowls, that's hit uppishly but safe over mid wicket, and I think that's going to clear a long on boundary as well. And Eskenazi, Essex have got to get him out very quickly here. He maybe just had a little bit of a quiet spell in his innings, but he's going again now. It's a brilliant pick-up shot off Walter over long on. Eskenazi goes to 72 from 46, and it's 105 for 1 in the 13th, and surely Middlesex's game to lose.
I think I can remember. I mean, I know a little bit Steve Eskenazi. I think he's a very awkward, very fine player. And I think there was a game against Surrey a year ago, 2 years ago, where Surrey got a lot.
Walter bowls, and that's hit uppishly, but is it safe? It's going out to deep mid wicket, well caught. I think it's Benkenstein out there, but it's a very good catch. And we said that Essex really had to get Eskenazi out. I suspect it might be too late, but he was made to reach for that one a little bit, and in the end dragged it a little bit too far wide of what he really wanted. And good catch at deep mid wicket, coming in to take that, and Walter gets his man. Yes, he just had to reach for that. I think it just was a slightly slower one from Walter. It sat up a little bit, and it was a pull shot, and it's been taken at deep mid wicket. A nice catch, 105 for 2, and you fear, as I say, that might be too late, but Middlesex do have a habit of not winning games when they've got a chance of doing so, and that's what Essex will have to hang their hat on here. But they had to get Eskenazi out really more or less straight away, and they've duly done so.
He made 72. Yeah, that's a great knock. I was about to say, and I'm looking at Guy behind us, there was a fine match, a very high scoring match, where Surrey got a huge total, and Middlesex, who were bottom of the T20 league, went and got it. Eskenazi got close to 100 or got 100 at the Oval, and I think it was a very special performance where Middlesex beat their south of the river rivals last year. I am sure it was
52 required from another 7 overs and 1 ball. The extra ball is being bowled by Walter now. It's pushed out up into the offside. Quick single for Deploy, gets himself up and running, left-hander. So 2 relatively new batters at the crease here. Geddes on 1, Deploy 1, 106 for 2, but 51 required in 7 overs, just over 7s there for 7.3. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. And just to confirm, it was Benkenstein with a very good catch actually, because it looked like he had a bit of ground to make. But, well, is that too late? It looks like a match-winning innings from Eskenazi, but Essex will have to hope that they can just induce a little bit of panic in Middlesex.
Well, Benkenstein got a wicket, and then he's taken a catch in the space of 2 overs. So he's had an effect on the game. Harmer into the attack now, round the wicket, second over. This has bowled him as it's turned, a little bit of turn there, Simon Harmer, and he runs off and hugs his teammates about 20 metres away. That looked a pretty nice delivery as the left-handed Lewis Deploy has to go with his personal score. Did he get 1, David?
He did.
Just the 1.
Well, we said earlier when we saw Middlesex's spinners looking so effective, but there was a bit of help in this pitch because it's a used pitch from last weekend. And that was a classic Harmer dismissal to the left-hander. Generally turned, Deploy played round it. And we were just saying that Essex's chance here is to try and create a bit of panic in Middlesex. Williamson's gone, and then Eskenazi, who was winning the game on his own, has gone. They've got another wicket very quickly off the back of that. And if Essex can, string a couple of quiet overs back to back and get the rate up towards 9s, who knows?
Absolutely, another left-hander to the wicket, which is the keeper from Middlesex, Jack Davies. He's taking guard. Harmer's got a slip in. Dean Elgar next to the keeper, Adam Rossington, bowling around the wicket again. Gosh, he would like to bowl another similar delivery. In comes Harmer to Davies. He bowls and it's a leading edge, nearly went all the way 22 metres back to Harmer, probably only went about 15, so just fell short of the Essex skipper. So we now know it's turning. We've got a left-hander facing. How challenging will it be? A little quicker, cut to the man at fly slip where there is no run.
Well, we said that Essex needed a repeat of that 6-wicket collapse in their own innings. They've got 2 of them so far. They clearly need to get another couple of wickets and also put another couple of tight overs together, and then they've got a real chance.
45 has gone back now to deep backward square. Harmer to the left-hander. Davies facing. Little quicker, again well bowled, pressure delivery that, as he's played it back to the bowler, he collects on his follow through.
Asking rate above 8.
Davies is going to have to be very careful here. He bowls, gives it a bit of air. There's, oh my word, he's gone for the sweep. I don't know if it's gone off his glove, but it went onto the back of the bat as it's gone round having played the sweep. But when it's gone off the back of the bat, it's actually gone away from the keeper. The keeper was looking for it. So Davies is looking to sweep. Harmer will be happy. Harmer, and again, bit quicker, driven back to Harmer to conclude a most magnificent over from the Essex skipper, who is really keeping Essex's chances of a shock win alive. Harmer, well bowled, sir. Middlesex, 106 for 3.
Yep, and he is the Essex. Well, if Essex win this game, I think Harmer could well be man of the match, because he's got 41 from 28 top score, and he's now got 1 for 9. We were saying that we thought, I think we discussed this off air as well, that Essex's best chance after this bad start to the competition might be to play on some used wickets. I thought we might get that sort of pitch at Cardiff on Friday. We didn't, but here Essex have made a decision to go down that route, and I think the spinners are their strength at the moment, so there's a chance. They wouldn't have banked on losing 6 for 18 earlier,
absolutely.
But there's still a chance. That's the critical thing.
But it was a wicket maiden, Nick.
It was
fantastic.
So 51 from 36, tremendous over from Harmer, and here's Benkenstein to bowl a full length delivery, which is driven away along the ground up towards wide long off by Geddes. He goes to 2, so 2 new batters at the crease. It's Jack Davis on strike now. Ryan Higgins, we mentioned that big innings he had 2 years ago here. He could yet be a danger man, definitely coming in down the order. 107 for 3, and even 50 required from 35 deliveries, as this is a flatter one, and it's a reverse scoop and a lovely shot. Brilliant execution that from Davies, who's new to the crease. Just picked it up on length, and once he'd hit that past Amir, it was always going down towards the boundary away to our left in front of the scoreboard. Just a nice execution on length there from the new batter Davis, who picks up a 4 down to the third man boundary with the reversed hands. He goes to 4, 111 for 3. And here is Benkenstein again, and he plays a similar shot without timing it. Goes to backward point. We've got a backward point and a short third man looking to cut that shot off. We've got a cover who's covering a lot of ground, and then a deep mid wicket and a deep backward square leg on the boundary, a long boundary to our right. 111 for 3 as this next one clipped away into the wide open spaces on the onside. There are runs out there for Middlesex to play calmly and look for the 2s out there. That was too close to Harmer. Just a single. 112 for 3. So 32 deliveries to go, 45 required. 112 for 3, as this is hit in the air but safe, clubbed away down the ground. That's a good shot by Geddes. He's picked that up and hit it away just wide of a long on fielder who couldn't get across, and that's 2 boundaries in the over for Middlesex. They might settle the Middlesex nerves a bit after those 2 quick wickets.
Very much so. Geddes knows Luke Benkenstein from their England under-19 days.
41 required, and Geddes looks to repeat the shot but doesn't time it, and Benkenstein's not quite sure where the ball was, and they get through for an extra run. That was a bit odd. It looked like he was going to stop it in his follow through, but it's got away from him. They've scampered through for a bonus run. It's turned into a good over for Middlesex. That 5 overs to go. There are exactly 40 required at 8 and over. 117 for 3. It still should be Middlesex's game, but anything can happen, and let's see if it does, with Don about to be joined again by Guy Swindles.
Thank you, Nick Gledhill, BBC Essex. Interestingly for me, I just wonder whether Jack Davies accidentally got in the way of the bowler, Luke Benkenstein, who was going after to the ball. It was purely innocent, but the point is, he looked as if there was an issue. This time, it's going to be Geddes facing Harmer. Harmer bowls quite full. Geddes, formerly a Surrey, drives the ball down to long on, where there is a single. Michael Pepper fielding beneath us on the river stand. Good afternoon.
Hello again, Don. Yes, well, tumbles of wickets, there you go. That was what you were after. But no, I'm not quite sure they should have taken that single, but never mind, it is.
This is lapped. Harmer has gone for 6 as that's gone over the Felstead School stand. And that really is a very good sweep shot there. What we've seen since Jack Davies came to the wicket when there were 2 quick wickets, what we've seen, he's looking to lap, he's looking to play square. That was a conventional sweep and a very good shot. Harmer round the wicket again, bowls a little bit shorter, played into the offside where I think it's Critchley does the fielding. He's playing very square, looking to lap, looking to slog sweep, but he's looking to play square of the wicket, not straight. In he comes. There's a bit of air here from Harmer, well fielded by deep square leg. Can't tell, is that Cook? But anyway, it's a good bit of fielding. Again, Jack Davies looking to sweep. Now we've got the right-hander on. Geddes going to face Harmer bowling over the wicket. He bowls. It's lapped it. Oh, and this time it's gone bottom edge. He's gone reverse lap. It's just been pulled up inside the boundary. He will take 2, slightly fortuitous. And this is what happens when you're a side out of form, lack of confidence. You suddenly get inside edges that don't go onto the stumps or top edges that miss the keeper. It's difficult for Essex here. Quicker ball. This is in the air. Is it going to be Snater to catch it? He dives short, but he parries it. He doesn't drop it. He can't quite get to the ball. It bounces a metre in front of him. No criticism of the fielder there. He's one of the quicker fellas, most athletic fielder, Shane Snater. He just couldn't get there. That's what I mean. When you're out of form, things are not going your way, and you know the coach will never hide behind that, but that's what happens when you're out of form. Things don't go your way, you lose form, you lose confidence. When you're not confident, it doesn't happen, and Essex very much are in that moment where they need to try and break that circle of fire,
which Middlesex are doing, because they were in exactly the same circle coming into this match. Absolutely that nothing was running for them.
Well, Essex lost those 6 wickets in 29 balls earlier in the day. 5 overs to lose 6 wickets, eh?
Well, 4 overs now to try and win this match, and that is smashed up in the air. This should be out. Jack Davies has given away his wicket rather, and well bowled Paul Walter. He banged it in, but to be honest, that's not a shot Jack Davies will want to watch many times on replay. And he goes for 12 and 129 for 4, and they're still not home. They still require 157, so there's just trying to do the sums now. 28 required still.
But I don't like to say this, he's possibly just waved the white flag there. He's just had a bit of a slog at the ball where he's given Michael Pepper probably the easiest catch he will take all season. It's a huge boundary. I mean, Jack Davies came in and found it a little tricky against Harmer, but then he suddenly changed and tried to reverse sweep and lap and sweep, and he looked quite effective until he's just got out. Middlesex 129 for 4, chasing Essex's. Is it on the new? No, it's not on the new.
120. 100, chasing 100, and
it's not on the scoreboard actually. I've just.
But it was 156. They need 157. As Walter is in now, and that's played directly to the man at backward point, and there is no run. Probably good news for Middlesex that Ryan Higgins has now come to the crease. Jack Davies is a good bat, but 5 might be a couple of places too high. Higgins, who in a losing cause earlier in the season blasted 44 from 16, is a man who is handy in an awkward position. Walter to Higgins, who plays him nicely into the leg side, into the spaces, and trots through for a single and gets off the mark. Geddes has also been something of a revelation for Middlesex this season. I think in his first 3 county championship matches he scored half centuries. He scored a half century in his first T20. And important that these two stay here for a bit if Middlesex are to fall over the finishing line in this one.
Well, looking at the bowling, Snater's got 2, Harmer's got 1 left, Mohammed Amir's got 1 left, Cook's got 2, Walter's on his 3rd, Benkenstein probably won't bowl again. Walter in.
Oh, and that's smashed up in the air. That's a great shot from Geddes. At first I thought the Flamingo might let him down and he might have got a top edge, but no, he absolutely nailed it for 6 over cow corner.
That helps the situation.
Doesn't it just? And the score goes up to 136 now.
Will Harmer bring himself on to bowl his last? Mohammed Amir, Cook's got 2. There's options, there's certainly options. We've had 7 bowlers so far today.
Walters is in, slower ball and it's fetched, and that's 6 more, thank you very much. And that's over the Felsted School stand, and suddenly the pressure is easing slightly. The score now up to 142, so it is just another 15 runs required after those 2 lusty Geddes blows.
He's on 24 off 10.
Yeah, he has been a brilliant signing.
Yeah.
Middlesex taking advantage of the fact that the queue to get in the Surrey side is a long one at the moment.
Well, I was talking about guys who have played, Richard Johnson, and of course one of the more famous Middlesex Surrey players that I didn't mention earlier, Rampakash.
Yeah,
correct.
He went the other way, but yeah.
And we can go back as far as Mike Selvey.
Yeah,
because Mike Selvey was a Surrey boy.
Yes. We keep quiet about that at Middlesex. Oh, and that's 3 6s on the trot. And this is going to be over very quickly if Geddes keeps going like this. Well, you feel for poor Walter. He started wicket, dot ball, single, and then saw the next 3 deposited out of the ground. And the score, well, it's racing along, isn't it now? It's up to... you can see that scoreboard, I can't.
Yeah, the score is now 148 for 4. It's a new scoreboard, very pleased to see it, to replace the old one that was sort of digital numbers. My only observation is all the numbers are on it quite small, but I am 61 years old.
Yeah. You youngster.
It is quite a small scoreboard. The normal scoreboard to our left, which is enormous, which is a fantastic scoreboard, unfortunately we can't see it.
We can see a little bit of it.
We can't really see it because 1, it's a health and safety issues climbing out the window, and 2, there is scaffolding for the black sight screen. So we don't get to see it.
Thank goodness they give us a little television though in the scoring room, so we can
148 for 4. Here we go. Matt Critchley into the attack. This is a slog sweep where reverse sweep where it's gone for 6 again. So that area of the ground has been peppered by the Middlesex players, and the Essex bowlers will have been savagely hit into that. Well, the Felsted School stand.
That's 4 successive 6s, isn't it?
And indeed, the flats adjacent to it. In comes Critchley. Critchley's bowled. It's played by Higgins into the offside off the back foot, where he takes a very quick single. 155 for 4. 2 to win. In comes Critchley. Critchley bowls, it's short, played into the leg side, that could be out. Oh, it's gone for 4, and that will be that. There was a chance Snay to dive for it. It fell just short. He was trying to get to it. Unfortunately, he hasn't technically dropped it, but he's parried it for 4, and Essex have lost this afternoon by 6 wickets. It's been slightly brutal. They've won it in the 18th over, so 2.3 overs left in this game, but Essex have lost. So Middlesex take their win. They move up the table. They've got 6 points now, but Essex are still bottom and winless and have no points. So back to the drawing board for Simon Harmer and Chris Silverwood, but that is quite a disappointing performance at the end of the day, where Middlesex have won easily here at Chelmsford. Thoughts, Guy?
Well, I know there were 2 teams came into this both trying to get the monkey off their back, didn't they? Neither team had managed to win so far this season. Middlesex thought they'd had the better of a match that was rained off in midweek and thought they were heading in the right direction, and this backed that up a bit. What I liked about the Middlesex performance was, despite that fantastic start from Rossington and Elgar, they didn't panic, they kept going, they applied the pressure, and when 60 without loss became was 78 for 6, they were in the driving seat. They then even recovered from that excellent innings from Simon Harmer, getting Essex over 150, and blips. When they'd lost that 4th wicket, I thought, here we go again. This is so typical Middlesex. They're flattering to deceive. They'll waste the Eskenazi, but no, they didn't. Geddes and Higgins were outstanding just to see them over the line, and it was a really professional performance. And Simon Harmer bowled beautifully, but Middlesex will be absolutely delighted with that, particularly as they've only beaten Essex once in the last 6 attempts?
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Guy. A quick recap on the bowling figures then. Snater had 2 overs, none for 20. Harmer had 3 overs, he got 1 for 21. Mohammed Amir, 3 overs, 0 for 27. Cook, just the 2 overs, 0 for 16. Critchley, 2.3 overs, 0 for 25. It may have been more, actually. Water, 3 overs, 2 wickets. He got the 2 wickets, but it's a costly 3rd over. He went for 34. And Benkenstein, 2 overs, but he got the 1st wicket, 1 for 16.
I was just going to say, Paul Walter's figures were 2.3 overs, 2 for 16. And then his last 3 balls went for 18. So it was. So his first 15 balls cost less than his last 3. So tough afternoon.
The Middlesex supporters will return down the A12, the M25, and around the North Circular, and they will be happy. Meanwhile, Essex, well, back to the drawing board. What options are available? Jordan Cox, if he does come back, will be much required in their batting lineup, batting at maybe 3, maybe 4, but all will be revealed on Thursday as Nick Gledhill will lead the programme again for the ladies early and then for the fellas later in the evening. But without further ado, I'm afraid it's bad news for Essex here at Chelmsford. But we would like to say a huge thank you from Guy Swindles, Nick Gledhill and myself, and we wish you all a very good evening.
How was the mood in the camp coming back out to defend that?
Yeah, I think we got off to a really good start with the bat. Probably lost too many wickets in that transition period coming out of the power play, which put us under the pump. I think 180 was par. We did really well to sort of get back into the game with the ball. But yeah, like it's pretty obvious that we aren't good enough at the moment. Taking wickets up front and batters batting through. So frustrating. 4 games in now, 10 to go. We need to turn it around and yeah, hopefully that can start sooner rather than later.
And we keep talking about it. A lot of games to come. There's a lot of talent in this group. We know it, you know it. Back in action on Thursday, so a few days to regroup. I'm guessing that might be good timing?
Yeah, 2 games back-to-back. We're a team that plays very well when we have momentum on our side. We haven't been able to get that momentum just yet, but hopefully Thursday, Friday next week, we can win a couple on the bounce and get this tournament going.
Well, we're right behind you, ladies and gentlemen. Please put your hands together for our Woodland Group Player of the Match, Captain Simon Harmer. I've also got our young Eagle of the Match, Jasper Grendel. Jasper, come over here. You can have your photo with Simon Harmer. There he is. If you turn yourself around, Jasper, you'll be able to have a photo. Well, a reminder to join us again on Thursday, the 12th of June, when Essex men take on Glamorgan in the second doubleheader of the summer. The women's side will also be in action from 2:30, and that's followed by the men's match at 6:30. As ever, your support, we are extremely grateful. Stick with the team, get behind the team. We'll all come back together on Thursday, ready to go again. But other than that, thank you very much for your support and a very safe journey home.